you guys, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, but it's time to start talking about the next matchup. We're going to get right into it. This one has a few more immediate implications as far as playoff standings are concerned. It's Luminosity versus Virtus.Pro. Now, Luminosity is currently sitting in second place. They're tied for first in match score, second place in game score behind G2. So, and we talked in their interview last week, they mentioned that their strength of schedule so far has been much, harder than G2's. And they're facing off against some of the teams at the lower end of the standings as we get into the final week. So this is going to be a big week for Luminosity to show that they deserve to be at the top of the tables, and a big week for Virtus.Pro as they try and get into that top half.
Yeah, I wonder if that ends up working against them, the fact that they're so confident. I feel like it feels like they're almost underestimating the field because they're saying their strength of schedule is the best. Now, granted that it's warranted given that records do tend to favor Luminosity's schedule on paper. You can't really like feel like Virtus.Pro is a weak team. So you just look at what's currently being banned here, and hopefully that ends up working out for Luminosity. But I know Virtus.Pro will come firing today.
Yeah, they definitely will. They've had some rough breaks in the past couple weeks. So Shaman's banned away and Warriors banned away. So Rogue left up for both teams. Now let's go ahead and see if they're going to change up their strategy as far as exclusions go. And Luminosity going to bring Hunter again this week. Last week they did bring the N'Zoth Hunter, as we saw, and had mild success. They won a match and then lost a match. So as you would expect with one of those, not OP decks, I guess you can call them. And Virtus.Pro is going with the standard strategy, but even though Virtus.Pro has selected standard decks, Virtus.Pro is a team that definitely plays things that are maybe a little bit off the wall. They've been playing Freeze Mage in a few of the weeks, even Temple Mage, and Zoo they played in 1 week. So there's the lineup for Luminosity.
Yep, Luminosity featuring Chalky, Zalay, and Frozen. Frozen, of course, one of the more newer faces to the scene, but he's been playing for a while. If you've already seen him do a lot of ladder finishes and doing well in tournaments, and Frozen's also going to the championship in the Bahamas representing America. So Luminosity doing big things in 2017. Virtus.Pro, they were the team of 2016. All three of these guys were in threat to maybe even win the World Championship. Dr. Hippie was at the doorstep, second place finisher for the entire World Championships of 2016. And they have the Paladin in their arsenal. Let's see if they are able to bring it back this week. Virtus.Pro, I definitely think that they're more of a traditional lineup playing team. Don't really expect too much difference from them. But Luminosity, maybe they've got something different this week.
Luminosity was sort of the first to innovate with Temple Mage in a week where they didn't sweep. It wasn't a 6-0, but they ended up winning all 6 games with their Temple Mage after going down like 3-0 in a set. So they're definitely a team that likes to innovate. They brought N'Zoth Hunter. Even though Hunter was played before that, they were the first team to bring the N'Zoth version. And now, so now 2 teams today. In both matches, we've seen a team open up with Rogue. Yep. And this is sort of that nod at predictability. Is Virtus.Pro being too predictable opening with Paladin, as many teams have, developed a habit of doing?
They really have been. Now, Paladin can beat the Rogue. They conceal Auctioneer. You Equality Killer. They play a big Van Cleave, you Peacekeeper. So they do have answers, but a lot of times it's not the right answer at the right time. Meanwhile, Luminosity, that's a decent opening hand with Van Cleave in it, but everything else, maybe you end up pitching it. Patch is definitely not in the opening hand is what you want there.
Yeah.
Can you make a case that because it's a slower matchup, you might want to keep Auctioneers since you're on coin?
Being on coin, maybe, but if you also keep Van Cleef, that kind of works against it. So yeah, I was gonna say if you keep one, I think you don't keep the other. So you either keep Van Cleef or questing. And with Paladin, you talked about the ways that Virtus.Pro can deal with an early Van Cleef, either Equality Clear or the Outdoor Peacekeeper. So I think Auctioneer is a more safe keep as far as this matchup is concerned.
Yeah, you are pretty aware that Virtus.Pro is looking for cards like Outdoor Peacekeeper in the very beginning, because that's the way they make sure that they neuter threats, especially since Luminosity's on the coin. So that could be the way that they're playing around that. Not to mention that even if, Patch is being drawn anyways.
They threw it away, and it's still their second draw in the game. Yeah. That's rough.
It's just like Patch just wants to come to play. And Patch is tends to still have value if you can use Cold Blood or if you can use it to buff Questing Adventure or Van Cleave. It's just that, Luminosity has been very passive this early game.
Yeah, let's go listen into Luminosity and see how spirits are now that they've drawn their patches.
Or we could just go with this guy and then pass, right? Because if we have a weapon up, does Aldor work? Does Aldor work? I forgot.
It does actually. So it actually does. It's bugged.
It does, but do you really mind that much? Like, I think it's not that bad if they Aldor here.
They also might not know that, but yeah.
Yeah, so we go face, redagger, and then play this.
That seems fine to me.
I like this. I like it a little bit better.
I would like the Eviscerate if we had, Tomb Villager to play next turn. But kind of don't. Do you think we're coining Drake?
Oh, never. Ever. Ever.
Yeah, good talk.
We're gonna draw Tomb Villagers away.
Now that...
Come on, though.
The Bristle guy?
The next one. Yeah, but the next turn you're gonna go with the Flame. Yeah, and Hero Power. This turn, yeah, just book on Hero Power. Just like the first time when I wanted to see patches.
Now we want to this, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just throw this guy out there. Did I have? Maybe that was bad.
Here comes Findra.
No, they don't have it.
Isn't Hearthstone a fun game? Like, don't you feel like we have so much control over this?
There are worse meta.
It's so sad.
They don't have Finja.
No, Virtus.Pro doesn't have Findra. They can clear this in a couple different ways there. As you can hear Luminosity kind of commenting on the fact that Findra would be devastating for them, to say the least.
To say the least.
Yeah. I mean, look, we don't have to pretend anymore. The meta is definitely in a kind of a awkward spot where it just seems to have stagnated a lot. But the patch that's been promised to come is imminent. Maybe you have a week or so left of it, and hopefully we can see a lot of shifting changes. And I want to see the trickle down from it. If, let's say the patches, or sorry, not the patches deck, but the small-time Buccaneer nerf ends up impacting Pirate decks so significantly that they become irrelevant, then does that mean that these control decks end up becoming dominant, which means does that mean the Jade becomes dominant? Does that mean that buff decks become possible because it's so slow and you're able to really out-tempo them? But it's interesting to think about the ripple effects of it. So we'll just wait and see.
I'd like to, for a moment, complain about Luminosity's complaining. They're talking about the meta.
Is the meta.
They're talking about the meta like Murloc Paladin is a part of the thing that people complain about a lot. Like, in what world are they saying, oh, look, Hearthstone, am I right? When they're talking about Murloc Paladin.
It starts to come to the point where maybe it's like they've played too much card games in general. It's like literally anything they just start complaining about.
They're so jaded that one of the decks that people complain about being the least represented currently,
it's true.
They even find a way to complain about that. So
they're complaining about playing against Paladin.
Yeah, that's when you know that in a way it's gotten bad when that happens. But still funny. That's just how Luminosity is a lot of the times.
All right, well, it looks like they got the Gadget and Auctioneer here. I bet Virtus.Pro's like, wow, what a great solitaire game we're watching right now. At this point, it looks like Luminosity is just going to clear the board here and Conceal, forcing an Equality Consecrate or a Pyromancer to quality from Virtus.Pro. Two Pyromancers are in the hand, but no answers to pair with it.
Now it's about whether or not they want to use the Conceal. They realize that if they use the Conceal, then Wild Pyromancer quality still hits. And maybe they want to bait out the Wild Pyromancer quality now and then make a big Conceal turn later on, so that way the Edwin Van Cleef that they conceal or the questing adventure that they conceal is less likely to be hit. But I think that's a little bit too greedy, and I like just the conceal now, forcing them to have. That's a burglary bully.
That is a burglary bully. They could be getting used to the rotation where Tomb Pillager is no longer around. That's right. The day of welfare is over. You have to earn your coins, TJ.
The old-fashioned way.
The good old-fashioned way, which is annoying your opponent with burglary bullies.
Well, let's go ahead and listen into Virtus.Pro and see how they're going to deal with this board.
We don't play nothing, even hero power wrestling. We don't want to give him sub-target.
Yeah,
Sure.
actually makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Big ever.
So we just play the big boy and then go face, and then and then dagger first and then hit face.
Wait,
believe
no,
that
you don't have to play around Harrison.
Yeah, I guess we have lethal. If he has Harrison, he can't clear our board into Harrison.
Yes.
Why didn't they hero power? Backstab? Play around backstab?
Plays around sap. It's just harder for us to cycle, I guess, is the idea.
Yeah. We've got 6 spells in the deck.
Blade Rack.
Rag.
The fire. What's it called? The one with shields.
Light Lord.
Light Lord. Yeah.
Or double Pyrocons.
No, actually, double Paracon. It's crazy.
But how then we will win?
Yeah.
We would just play the Light Lord, I think.
Yeah, the light.
This light lord.
Hold
It's lethal.
18.
We're playing to think about it.
Wait. Yeah, I mean, it should be. Yeah, it's lethal now. It's lethal now.
Is it lethal?
Yes. Just Leroy. It's exact. Well, it's 1 over.
Well, yeah. Oof, that's twice we've won game 1 this tournament.
Wowee. Oh, gee willikers.
Oh, they just insta-cancel the challenge.
They know what they're queuing next, I guess.
All right.
I kind of know what they're queuing next as well. Oh, wait, they don't have Warrior. No, I have no idea what they're queuing next.
Shaman?
They don't have Shaman either.
Oh, so it's Rogue Mirrors?
Maybe. That'd be brutal.
If that's their best counter to Rogue, then I don't know.
Freeze Mage.
Maybe it's got to be Tempo Mage or Freeze Mage.
Yeah,
Even Reno Mage. All kinds of mages is good against Rogue these days.
that's true.
Well, Luminosity has all their decks there. Virtus.Pro illuminate their Paladin, but we've been seeing a lot of people start off with this because they feel like Paladin's their weakest deck anyways. So it's got the least amount of good counter matchups that you can queue it into. Why hold on to it?
That's why people have been cutting the Paladin from their lineups completely and going with something that's a little bit more, I don't know, consistency is not the right word. Consistency in the right matchups with Hunter. Like, Paladin doesn't have any matchups where it just, like, blows them out of the water.
Maybe
Reno Warlock would be the
Reno?
closest, but
Yeah.
even then, I still feel like Hunter would be better against Reno in that case. So it's like, what matchups are you looking to win with the Paladin? Can Hunter do it better?
Yeah, I guess you're right. I'm really thinking hard here. It doesn't seem like it jumps out to me that anything right away it beats. Maybe like Ramp Druid, if that's still a thing. But you're right for the most part.
Yeah. But let's once again go ahead and take a look at the graphic now that we saw earlier of Rogue wins amongst teams. That's actually Luminosity's first Rogue win in all of Trinity Series. Was that match right there?
The other team, the squad they're facing, Virtus.Pro, they haven't
0
gotten
Rogue wins. Well, they're going to need to change. Well, they may not necessarily need to change that today, but with a 0-1 start, they might need to change that today and get a win with Rogue since it is left open. But Cloud9, I mean, they quadrupled their Rogue wins after their 6-0 early on in the day. And Temple Storm, really the only other team that has had much success with it. Granted, it's usually banned in series, but even when it's not banned, a lot of the times it hasn't been taking wins, or it's been taking one win and then getting countered right off the bat. So we'll see. Maybe Rogue's going to be the deck of the day for Trinity Series if Luminosity can keep up a streak with it.
Yep, that's right. If you guys are tuning in a little bit late to the broadcast, you missed Cloud9 sweeping Alliance 6-0 with their Rogue. Now, it wasn't exactly the traditional Rogue. There was a red mana worm in it, so that way they could benefit off of a lot of tempo. Yeah, Barnes as well. That was kind of cool.
All right. Here we go. Game number 2, Luminosity once again on the Rogue, and Virtus.Pro going to go with Tempo Mage, as you predicted.
Yeah.
Frodanicus.
Magus de Tempo.
Yes. From the Latin derivative.
Mm-hmm. Magnus de Tempo. I mean, yeah, I guess I imagine the people who study Latin in high school feel like it's relatively useless, except you get to make really epic names for your Hearthstone decks.
That's true. Yeah. My older sister took like 5 years of Latin.
And how much has she applied that to her real life?
I don't know, but I still make the joke.
She makes great pet names.
I still make the joke every time I see her. I ask her to speak Latin. Never gets old.
Yeah. Well, on the coin here is Magus de Tempo, and they have the Mana Worm and Sorcerer's Apprentice with Flame Waker as well. So they've gotten pretty much every single tool at their disposal that they want early game. Now, do they want to play any of it turn 1?
That's the question.
Because Arcanus Miscellaneous is not exactly the really good, reliable thing early game. Sorry, TJ. I was just inserting my Latin skills.
It helps me understand, so I really appreciate it. But let's go and listen to Virtus.Pro and see how they're planning on dealing with this turn.
Yeah, there's just a consideration of going with the missiles. But yeah, if I'm not gonna hit Buccaneer, then yeah, it's gonna be really bad. I guess I like keep his play, just going with Manowar and pinning the next turn.
It's fine.
Runs out on me.
Yeah.
Dagger, Valley Trade, the Buck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does this mean they have Waker or not? Because usually when you have Waker, you just want to go ping on 2 and then... Pass, just in case we draw Prout.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm not exactly sure if we want to tempo this questing. And now I'm sure we don't want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
You just small time swing and redagger, right?
Sounds right.
Yeah.
So do you play slow game or long?
I like
Slowly
going with
or
the Flame
fast?
Waker.
I like Flame Waker now as well.
With the missiles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if they don't have a removal, they have a problem. Yeah. Seems fine.
I serve the Fire Lord.
This I killed the Buccaneer.
Did they not kill the patches?
No.
All right, well, Virtus.Pro gets on board with Flame Waker. They seem to be super relaxed. I guess it's just how Virtus.Pro operates. They're just a calm team. except when Bunny Hopper's throwing his headset. But other than that, just a really calm team.
Oh, calm. I thought they said comp team. As in, like, they compromise a lot or something. Yeah, doesn't really seem like Virtus.Pro has any reliable ways to clear. They've got pretty much just minions really to play in this position. Or they could try to freeze their opponent here, but it seems like Water Elemental is their best tempo, and they have to part ways with their famous Wakernicum.
Yes. Which is a tough thing to do, especially as you heard them discussing. Should we go out with the Flamewaker right now, or should we save it for a time when we can couple it with some more spells? All right, Luminosity has a way to deal with this. What?
With the Flamewaker.
Okay, sure. The Flamewaker.
With the famous Wakening. I don't even know what I was saying, dude. For the record, I did not take Latin at all. I just made fun of my friends for taking Latin, which is really mean. I'm a bully, TJ, at its core.
I know.
So you know why, TJ? Because I was bullied. And now I'm bullying those people. And you know what they're going to do when they grow up, TJ? They're going to make fun of other people who took Latin.
It's just an endless cycle of bullying.
An endless cycle of people who took Latin and get bullied.
It's an epidemic.
It's an epidemic. It's an epidemicus. Some would say.
Sounds like a rare disease.
It's a rare but lethal disease. It affects, 20 people in your high school at this very moment.
Epidemicus. All right, let's go listen to Luminosity before Dan and I get more carried away.
All right.
Firelands portal, right? Like,
Oh, I'm the best.
drop backstab. I don't know.
Nice.
Alright.
Yeah.
I'm the best.
Nice.
Quote Frozen, I'm the best. Many times. So I don't think they run Torch. They might have changed their list quite a bit because Water Ellie I don't think they had last week.
I like cold-blooding the catches.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
gonna portal this turn on our Drake.
Hmm.
Do we coin a dagger? That's the question.
It's bad if we draw Questing, Edwin, or Tomb Pillager. That's 4 cards. Because then we can go Burgly Bully, coin out something.
Is it
I don't
bad if we
think it's
draw
worth
gadget?
Technically, right? Like, we'd rather have a coin than a dagger that swung for 1.
Do we hope for Doomguard? Just go Elemental and Pink.
No, I think we play Flamewaker. Oh, Flame Lands Portal.
Violent Battle.
Yeah, on Drake.
What to do?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Please Doomguard.
Or Taunt. Taunt will be fine.
Almost down.
Oh my god. This rogue. It's not supposed to win.
Wow, Luminosity's plan coming together. That Cold Blood on the patch is doing some work.
And they specifically debated about using the counterfeit coin as well. And Chalky very astutely pointed out how many cards that would affect their draws. And they said Tomb Pillager is one of them. They said Tomb Pillager, Gadgets, and not Gadgets, and the
Questing
Adventure or the Van Cleave, in which they would want to hold onto the coin. And it turns out they hit one of those things. So you're looking at some really high-level play here from Luminosity, really forcing Virtus.Pro into a tough position here. And that's the power of Rogue. You get to dictate the tempo of what your opponents a lot of times with some of these moves that they're making.
Yeah, now they can develop both of these minions, Burgly Bully plus Tomb Pillager, hit for 5. Virtus.Pro's going to be down to 7. And even though Tempo Mage does have lots of spot removal and they can come back from the board if they've lost, not usually with a hand like this one that's very heavy. Ragnaros the Fire Lord is not going to be able to deal with this all these minions at once. And they're actually going to switch up the plan a little bit and are going to go for a dagger up. They're going to try and push this damage.
Okay, so they're saying that they're hedging their bets against their opponent being able to remove both the patches and the Tomb Pillager, and even if they did, they still have Leroy as a kill. It is interesting because they get to save their Berkeley Bully in case they draw into other things as well. You know, you never know if they pick up Gadget Sand or they pick up some other way to really benefit off of the coin.
Yeah, so this turn they can Frostbolt the Tomb Pillager, ping off the patches, leave the Tomb Pillager at 1 health, and play Water Elemental. That way they can effectively, you know, take one more turn of Dagger up and then lock it out if it's not dealt with. So see, that's what they decided to go with. Let's go in and hear from their own words.
And double coin.
Nice.
That's player stuff.
Annie.
The Brotherhood shall prevail.
Perfect. I hope to get Arcane Blast from Azo Drake. You can get Fireball.
Yeah, just Fireball one. Yeah, we used the Frostbolt, right? Double Frostbolt. Or you can get the images.
Images or Talon's Arcane Blast.
That's over, right? Oh no, we can get from the Acolyte the images. Or we can get it from Drake. So getting it from Drake is gonna be better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, looks like Luminosity off to a similar start that Cloud9. That is 8 games in a row that Rogue's been able to win today so far, if you count back the previous series. And Luminosity, I gotta say, tuning into those discussions have been very insightful, being able to spot out when to really push your opponent and twist the knife.
Yeah, it was, you know, really showed off not just having, you know, an incredible hand and playing the game that way, as, you know, sometimes we see Rogue matches end up, but they had, you know, not that great of a hand, and they were able to make it work early on and really put the pressure on. So hats off to Luminosity, and as you mentioned, again, that's the 8th win in a row for the Rogue. Let's see if maybe we can see 2 sweeps today with Rogue. One from Cloud9 earlier against Alliance, and this one from Luminosity against Virtus.Pro. Virtus.Pro does have their own Rogue, and they have Warlock. Those are probably the 2 choices, either go to a 50-50 or go to the Warlock matchup, which is
slightly unfavored.
Slightly unfavored, but very close to even.
I mean, I can look up the stats and see exactly the percentages. I'll have to go ahead and check back with you on that. But generally, people do feel like any kind of slower Warlock is unfavored against Rogue because of cards like Sap, and because Rogue gets out to such a fast start. And if you're caught life tapping, then you're taking a lot of damage if they get off to a fast start. Not to mention that you know, Rogue is always really good at playing around the removals, and with conceals, just makes it really hard to make sure that you can keep Van Cleefs and Questing Adventures in check.
Yeah, I think it's probably about, you know, between 55-45 and 60-40.
Okay.
If I had to guess on the statistics.
So about 57-43, like somewhere around there.
57.5, 42.5, I think, maybe closer.
Okay, or maybe 57.372 repeating. And
good luck.
100 minus that.
I forgot what you said, or I would have.
It's like 42.673. Repeating, of course.
Repeating, of course, yeah. Got to throw that in. But here's the top class wins for each of these teams. Luminosity has had the most success with Mage, a lot in part due to the fact that 1 week they had 6 total wins with their Temple Mage. Completed not a reverse sweep and not a sweep, but they won all 6 games during that match with Temple Mage. Virtus.Pro, they've had the most success with Priest, surprisingly, which hasn't really been a class that a lot of these teams have had much success with. They've been using it as a counter to, say, Reno Mage or Druid, but other than that, they're not picking up many wins. But Virtus.Pro have been a team that has done just that. Notice Rogue not on any of those lineups. Notice Shaman not on any of those. And notice Warrior not on any of those. So even on the weeks that one of those decks are left up, it's still is in a situation where it's not getting as many wins as you'd expect. Did you find those matchups yet?
Yeah. So if we're looking at Reno Warlock and its matchups against Rogue, it seems to be at a 40%.
40%.
Win
Okay.
rate,
60-40. Okay. Well then, we'll see if that's going to be the case. But this is going to be a Rogue versus Rogue. So that's how Virtus.Pro feels about all the rest of their matchups. They feel like their best chance to win is by going into a Rogue mirror matchup. One of the most volatile of all mirror matchups for Danicus.
What do we say about using Latin here, TJ?
That's your Roman name. Verdanicus Maximus.
The third. Well, Rogue Mirrors, if this is the best that you've got, we're going to have to see if you can outmaneuver your opponents. Let's listen to Virtus.Pro. They're the ones on the play here.
Got that backstab.
Oh, 5-4s are pretty good.
I do the thing.
Could just think about hitting, but usually they would prep sap this. So. Okay.
Pirate and Pillager. A pirate and Eviscerate, yeah.
I don't really like playing Drake into the Drake turn, so we're just fanning here.
Yeah.
And
I'd agree with that.
even though we really prep, I still like just fanning.
Yeah, we can go prep sap. Oh. Oh.
Oh no, it's not that great.
That's
Don't have
not
a-
that.
It's a lot better than
mean,
the coin.
We'll
We need a 3-drop or
we got 5 cards that work with coins in our decks.
yeah, like don't we just Drake backstab or do we want to go Burger Prep sap?
So if we Drake backstab,
It really plays into the double 3 coin like they're nut and
yeah. I mean, what's Burgley prep sap weak to?
about
The
questing
prep's
sap.
better with questing.
Right.
That ever good? Questing sap conceal.
I don't like that as much. What do you do with the questing the next turn?
Great.
I think it's between the bully and the Drake.
I like the Drake.
Bully kind of plays around their auctioneer turn.
Yeah.
I'm a bit leaning
Okay.
towards bully.
I vote bully.
Okay.
Alright, bully it is.
Shiny.
Choose soon.
Like,
Are we hitting with a dagger now?
no. We've got
one
plenty of
point.
plays.
We have a different player.
We got plenty of plays, yeah. I mean, they're probably just going to play a minion again, right? And then we get to go like Drake, backstab, conceal, or something crazy.
We draw a counterfeit coin and we get a coin here.
Like, they're gonna feel so bad about putting spells into this.
Yeah, they really are. This is Virtus.Pro. This probably would have been a snap, Gadgetzan counterfeit coin conceal turn. But
Except they give 2 coins to their opponent, and then they have their own ability to play Gadgetzan and stuff like that, while the Virtus.Pro gets no coins.
yeah, this is actually quite an awkward situation. I really like the Burgley Bully pickup. Probably, thrown into the deck as a replacement for maybe 1 counterfeit coin, because we have seen one, and it looks like they are going to go with Sap coin Eviscerate face into Edwin Van Cleef.
Makes sense. Your opponents just use 1 sap, so their ability to deal with this Van Cleef is a lot lower. They are kind of using all their resources, though. They do have a backup with Gadgetzan Conceal in the following turn.
Yeah, we'll see. A sap's already been used from Luminosity. So, ooh. Azure Drake, backstab Eviscerate actually clears this off. And it's using about the same amount of resources that Luminosity, or that Virtus.Pro used to build a Van Cleave last time. So not a bad way to deal with this. Let's go and listen into Virtus.Pro and see what they're going to do now that their Van Cleave has been dealt with.
Just actually I conceal.
Yeah, probably now the play.
I don't think so, no.
I got the best deals anywhere.
I need a coin.
Yeah, a coin would be the nuts.
Coin or prep.
Coin or prep, yep.
Probably just go.
I mean,
go face
wait.
option and conceal. Or do you want to go bully conceal? Bully conceal kind of makes sense too.
The bully is pretty punishing for them. Like,
Bully conceal.
it's pretty rough for them, honestly.
I like it. Gives us more draws for auctioneer to maybe kill him on the swing back.
I don't think we ever we have to draw 18 with like, we'll have a bunch of mana, but I don't think we kill him on the swing back, but hey, you never know. So we definitely swing with the dagger, right? Like we start getting in. Yeah, I like bully. What do you think, Soleil?
That's fine.
Okay. So next turn, basically, you're just going to take over and play a bunch of stuff. This is going to be a really strange turn.
Unless they don't play any spells, which I can't really see.
Yeah, like... So... They've used both Abysses and one Sap, so that's basically the info we've got going. They've already used one coin.
Imagine if this was low Sap.
Finish first.
Yeah, you go. Yeah, you go mid first. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
An attack with the weapon. What is this hand? Come on. Only minions.
Sorry.
I don't think we can get lethal, but I think ideally we want just conceal. Conceal should win us the game. And we can trade, we can always trade with the first 4.
Do we just keep drawing though?
Keep drawing. You can kill the first 4/4.
We can probably kill them.
If we draw prep, we've got stop drawing, I think. So 12, 17, 23, 24, we're 1 off. We're 1 off. Patches is the only way to get 1. So we need prep and patches. I say we stop drawing and we just conceal, right? I mean, it's shitty.
Let's see. Yeah.
Okay, well, you definitely trade with that, with your 4/6 if we don't kill them.
Drawing.
Alright, I say we stop. Just Edwin punches guy, go face and conceal. And really hope you don't hit a second one. Okay.
You don't think they can kill us here?
They already used 2 Abysses. They didn't have Cold Blood last turn. They have 8, plus Leroy is 15. Like, I feel like we couldn't kill them. We needed so much to kill them. Like, we needed a Pirate and a Prep out of 12 cards. And, like, going for those, you're so likely to just draw into the ambushes. Because you need a specific 2-card combo. You're just as likely to draw killing them as you are to draw both ambushes and instantly lose.
I give up.
I honestly think it was correct. Like,
I don't think we were killing them.
yeah, we were 1 off, and we needed more mana. Because we
had
needed
another
to draw.
prep, though.
I know, we needed the prep and the pirate.
It's not every day you want patches in your hand before you summon it from your deck so that you can get the synergy. I think it would have been fine if they got any pirate because patches would have been summoned from their deck as well.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating here nonetheless.
Yeah.
From Luminosity. Very on point today.
they're incredibly on point, and they're able to make decisions quickly. You know, switching it up, playing Burglary Bully instead to make the turns awkward for disrupting Virtus.Pro's turns instead of making their most powerful turns, which can oftentimes, you know, lead you to victories. And it did. It did just that. Now, Virtus.Pro's hand was very awkward. They drew all of their minions early on and none of their spells, and they had to use their eviscerates early on. But nonetheless, that's a big lead now for Luminosity. They go up 3-0, and again, Virtus.Pro, I feel like this is deja vu to the last series that we had, where Alliance started to run out of options, and Cloud9 was the ones who just seemed unstoppable on the Rogue. And Virtus.Pro down to 3 unfavorable matchups as far as Rogue is concerned. I don't know how they're going to do it. Especially Priest is going to struggle really tough. It's going to be tough for them to deal with the Burglary Bully tech.
Yeah, that card has been impressing me more and more lately. The more I watch Burglary Bully being put into situations where it just drops and you have tempo in your advantage, the more I think that that card is pretty effective. And it's not, the thing is that the card feels balanced in a way, because it does so little if your opponent has board advantage against you. And I don't necessarily think it's one of those win more cards. Even if you have it trade for reasonable stats, like say 4/6 goes into like, you know, another 4/4 and then like a weapon kills it, you still feel like you got like a coin and decent value off it. So overall, I actually really like that card. Just
definitely well
design and an impact point of view.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is a very weak opening hand for Luminosity. Tomb Pillager makes it a little bit better. So this could be the game that Virtus.Pro turns it around, because they got some ramp and they got a rag, and rag can be tough for rogues to deal with without sap. It can, you know, hit those concealed targets. So Virtus.Pro have a lot of work to do, but it starts with winning this game right here.
All right, well, nothing really much going on for Luminosity. They're slowing down here. Druid does have that wild growth into coin nourish. So things are already looking up for Virtus.Pro, but they're going to need a little bit more if they're going to come back into the series overall.
Yeah. Ramp it up. So no plays for Luminosity. Oh, they pick up a small-time Buccaneer. So get that Patches out of the deck, thin it for the future, for their future draws. Probably one of the best draws in their deck up until that stage. But let's go and listen into Virtus.Pro and see if they're hopeful about winning this match.
Is Ras or Luminous? Probably Luminous.
I think you coin Nourish for mana, and then
For
you
mana
Wrath
and-
and fire it.
Yeah, like it.
Ras or maybe.
I think
save
you
Ras.
cycle with Wrath. You want to cycle with Wrath.
Give 1 second.
But then we want
Innovate,
never mind.
Nourish for mana, Wrath, and then Moonfire it. Right? So you Wrath for 1 because you need to cycle right now.
Malagos. Well, okay.
Dank memes, bro.
So what? They kept something big, right? They kept something real big.
Well, we're hitting, right? This hand doesn't ever not hit.
Yeah,
Keep innovate.
Yeah, they kept wild growth and yeah, they could have kept innovate with that and planned to draw, and then they drew something else. I think they're baiting Malagos a lot of the time here. No, because then they went moon.
I don't.
They're doing something big soon.
I don't think so. I think it's I'm pretty sure it's just Vate and like Boots or something.
They ramped with Nourish, so that's.
Or like
They top decked that.
need a damage card.
What about just conceal Abyss and we punch it with our face?
Why are we saving the backstabs?
What does the backstab do here?
It saves us 5 life and deals 1.
I wonder.
A little bit better for Auctioneer as well, I guess.
Yeah.
That's
Questing, Auctioneer, Van Cleef, like, I don't know. If you think the 1 is relevant, then push it, but.
Oh.
Luminosity trying to make the best out of a poor hand for them, and they spotted the Moonfire, which instantly leads them to believe that it's Malygos Druid. So they're trying to plan their turns around the potential of Malygos. And we don't see a Malygos yet, but Moonfire often indicates that, especially double Living Roots. Here comes Rag. If this hits the Tomb Pillager, Luminosity is in some major trouble.
Yeah, but they don't.
Ooh.
There is a possibility that they're able to rack in the damage here. Sap is okay, I guess. It makes Virtus.Pro commit to Rag again, and they could push the damage. What they don't know is if they need to conceal again. Man, this hand would be so good if they had an Auctioneer, but nothing besides that.
Or even something to deal damage. If they had a Leroy out there to potentially set up for a 2-turn lethal. I think at this stage they need to hold on to the conceal.
Yeah, they don't know that double Living Roots is in the hand of Virtus.Pro, so they have a pretty strong turn here to grab tempo on their end.
Yeah.
The power of Emperor Thorsan.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. They are getting a little bit low, but at this point, the reach from Luminosity, especially with a hand as weak as that is quite low. And a Moonglade Portal picked up. That one with Mulch is actually kind of tough. Mulch is going to help them deal with a big threat, but Moonglade Portal is going to help get them out of reach of like the maximum possible damage that Luminosity can do.
Yeah, I kind of like Moonglade Portal, but I also really like Mulch just in general because most of their threats you can deal with, and your Rag might accelerate the game to the point Moonglade Portal doesn't matter as much.
Yeah.
But at the same time, your opponent's holding a lot of cards that they haven't been able to play. They had 6 mana and they only used 2 of it.
Yeah.
So maybe they're holding situational response cards.
Leroy Cold Blood would kill you.
You're right. It would. Luminosity needs to pick up Gaddis and Auctioneer or something significant here. All right.
Swashbuckler into Nourish. Yeah. Mark of Yasharaj, not going to really help him out. They're just going to go ahead and throw it on the Swashbuckler here, so if it doesn't get removed, they can start pushing damage with it, but this is Virtus.Pro just a turn away from being able to close it out with Rag. Let's go and listen in.
Oh, that's right.
It's lethal.
What? It's lethal. Oh yeah. Don't let me do math. So.
Finally, we beat Rock. Woo!
Rag beat Rogue.
We did it.
Alright. Just 5 more Brokeback hands, please. Thank you, Blizzard.
Rejoice for the Rogue has finally been defeated here on day number 1 of week number 6 of the Trinity Series. 9 games in a row at 1.
Yeah, started off 6-0 with Cloud9 and now winning 3 games here, but the damage has been dealt. You know, Virtus.Pro suffered some really big losses. Now they have Druid up on the deck, and you can queue up a lot of stuff to beat Druid here.
Yeah, we'll see if Virtus.Pro can continue their win streak. They're going to have to win some unfairables. But Dan and I need a little bit of a break, so don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be back as soon as I get this ball in this cup. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Hearthstone Trinity Series presented by ESL and Twitch. My name's TJ, joined by Frodan. And it's time to see if Virtus.Pro can get some more wins with this Druid.
Feel good, TJ. Did a little bit of exercise between the break, and I got the blood rushing. And I'm feeling good. I think Virtus.Pro can really make this comeback here.
Yeah, hopefully Virtus.Pro use that break wisely for themselves to sort of regroup, use that momentum in their favor, because that was a pretty fast Druid win for what we've seen from Druid throughout the course of the Trinity Series. So remaining for them, they still have the Warlock and the Priest should the Druid lose. But this Druid is definitely going to need to do some carrying. And looking over at the side of Luminosity, plenty of options for them. Going up against the Druid, they have Hunter, they have Temple Mage, which can do a lot of work for them. Even Priest, if they have Dragon Priest can oftentimes do really well. They do have to keep in mind that this is potentially a Malygos Druid, as they saw Moonfire and Double Living Roots.
Yeah, it could be. Ragnaros does make it feel less sure, but at the same time, Ragnaros does damage, so why not include it as part of the combo Druid? That gives them a lot of possibilities. They could just play Hunter, for example. Maybe Hunter is good against that kind of style of Druid. It's a little bit unmapped at this point. There's not much data on it either. You know, looking at it, the Hunter's not even really included in some of those number matchups. So
yeah,
got to really look at you know, what your experience calls for. Druid is really annoying though. One deck that is capable of beating anything these days. It's like kind of just a little bit unfavored against everything is combo Druid. And that was the case back in the Karazhan meta. It wasn't overwhelmingly favored against many matchups. In fact, it wasn't really favored in a lot of matchups, but it was just so consistent at what it did. It was the number 2 deck behind mid-range Shaman.
Back in the day. Maybe one day it'll return to its former glory. But now it's time to move into game number 5, Luminosity versus Virtus.Pro, and it is going to be the Dragon Priest for Luminosity. So we'll see if they can get the pressure rolling and apply the pressure. But let's go ahead and listen in as they go through their mulligans.
1/3 girl, it's not really accomplishing what we want. I think we keep 2/4 man.
Definitely keep 2/4 man.
All right, good talk. Frozen, can you get into the spectate yet?
I'm just loading.
Okay. I'll rope it
Oh
up.
my god, Betona has to update?
Unlucky. All right, they kept 2.
Now we're doing good stuff with this hand. We didn't hit the full curve, but
So I think we pass, and then we probably coin a 3/5.
that's what I'm thinking. We're definitely not coining the Stormware Station. That's ridiculous. So we pass.
Yeah.
Weather on 2. Again. I'm so good.
Well, it's not like we have a great 4.
I think we coin the 3/5. Like, you'd rather buff the health on a 3-attack minion than a 2-attack minion.
Yeah. I agree.
It's just more pressure.
My work is paramount. Leave me alone.
Well, I like Luminosity's thinking there, trying to get the ball rolling as far as power on the board is concerned. Next turn, obviously planning for the Cabal Talon Priest. So let's see what Virtus.Pro can pick up from a Raven Idol. Some hard removal would be nice. Barrowwitch, I suppose, acts like that.
Yeah.
Can't deal with immediately with the Blackwing Technician, though. So a good spot by Luminosity. Imagine if they had played the Worm Rest Agent, it would have been removed on the board. So nice spot.
Nice spot indeed. It's interesting that Dragon Priest is being chosen here because Dragon Priest, is it okay against Malygos Druid? I feel like it's unfavored.
I feel like you don't have sort of as fast of an inevitability engine as Malygos. You need all the pieces to align instead of just a few pieces here and there. And it's not like you can play the pieces along the way to stifle the board. Like, as soon as you play Living Roots or Moonfire to go on the board, all of a sudden that ruins your OTK combo. But Malygos, like, even if you just slam it against Priest, they can't deal with it. You can just slam, if you can innervate it out early on a board that's not too threatening, you can just win the game from there. So I feel like it's pretty close. I feel like the early pressure still means a lot in this matchup.
All right, well, I'm looking at the Cabal Talon Priest, and that thing is juicy, buffing a Technician up to a 3/8. Is there any possibility that they also play Wormer Stage and Northshire Cleric?
It is possible. Well, yeah. If they think that hard removal was picked up from the Raven Idol, I guess that would be like better overall, and they can start getting more pressure. Going water on the board against Druid can sometimes be a little bit better as long as you're not playing this white. That's actually tough. They don't have a dragon next turn for Twilight Guardian, so maybe they feel like they can fit in a heal or something. But if that's the case, they can just Northshire Cleric heal next turn. So I actually like the Talon Priest. But let's go and listen into Virtus.Pro, see how they want to deal with this.
Just nourish from
Just nourish.
Pass.
It's okay, we need Malygos. Let's go.
Good. Well, let's play on curve.
Right? Yeah.
Got the most health.
All right, let's think about Argus positioning. Like, what would we rather, Argus?
The 3/8 should be in the middle.
The 3/6.
All right. Good talk.
And just Emperor.
And pass.
No.
Or do we want to death that? We have a decision now. We could Nether Spite. It could set us up to get 6/6 man, who becomes a 9/9. It also lets us play the Drake freely next turn, all at the cost of one power.
I like that. That sounds. Let's see. We lose Bran potential if we play Nether Spite, but I think what you said is more important.
Yeah. It's like if they clear, we want to play Drake, and then we don't have a dragon.
You talked me into it.
Okay.
We can't see the Discover.
It's Chromagus, Chillmaw, and Deathwing.
You can see the Discover.
Did you hear me?
Big Man.
Yeah.
Big Man?
Chromagus, Chillmaw, and Deathwing, huh?
Chromagus is pretty good though.
Well, Chillmaw sucks.
Yeah.
So it's Chromagus or Deathwing.
Well, do we need a turn 8 or 9 play?
Yeah,
I'm kind of down for Deathwing.
I'm kind of down for Chromagus personally, but
You guys say
I
Chromagus?
trust you.
I like that when we have a Zero Drake.
Okay,
We'll find plays.
play the turn, yeah.
I'm just thinking, like, I guess the game, we're so far ahead that it probably gets to a really weird state if they win, where they clear our board.
It's good against the Malygos.
It's good against the Malygos, yes.
Yeah, but the Malygos is going to come down way sooner than the Deathwing comes down.
Yeah.
Why
you gotta ruin the memes, Frozen?
Yeah, my argument for Chromagus is just that, like, we don't necessarily have a play, and Druid sucks at dealing with it.
Yeah. No, I see what you mean. Like,
it's pretty close. They both have quite a bit of upside.
Yeah. Start smart. It's fine.
That's like Flame Roots and Giant, right? No swipe.
You just 1/2 and yeah, Giant.
Yeah.
That's a Medivh the Guardian. Not bad.
Yeah, it's a pretty good pickup for Luminosity. They might not need it. The game might end before then.
Yeah, they're pushing a lot of damage. They have another Shadow or Death to deal with this Arcane Giant. There's really not that many targets in the deck, I'd assume. Probably double Arcane Giant plus Emperor Thorsan.
Yeah, and this is going to be disappointing for Virtus.Pro. Double Shadow or Death, and they do have a couple of removal pieces left, but they don't have anything to really tie them together. Iron Keeper's not really that good here, and they might have to use it as a 2/2 summon as opposed to anything else. They can start things off by wrathing, But most likely what they need here is to use Wrath to clear, because I think they can clear the board if they do so.
Yes. But that uses all of their resources almost, which is not good. Even if they drop Malagos off the top, they Malagos Moonfire 1 minion, and they're still taking a ton of damage.
They can hope for the Malagos to stick on the board.
That's true. They can. We heard Luminosity, talk about what their options were as far as Cro-Magus versus Deathwing, and they ended up taking Deathwing as an emergency against Malagos. But Frozen brought up the point of, well, Malagos is probably going to come down long before we get to a turn where Deathwing is going to matter. So if they can pick up Malagos very soon, drop it on the board, Moonfire something off, hope it lives, and then are able to follow that up with spells to protect it, maybe they can squeeze out some extra value. But let's go and listen into Luminosity. See how they're planning on closing out this game.
So if they don't have Drake, they probably don't have Nourish.
They also don't have Malagos. Like, they just don't have Malagos in their hand. Because all their cards were reduced except their top deck, which was Wrath. Alright. So they're just trying to survive. That doesn't really tell us much.
Maybe Yogg.
Yeah, maybe Yogg. I don't think we trade. Like, we could heal.
Well, for healing, we'd probably take a trade to get a little bit more value out of it.
Well, we already have a heal for full value on the Guardian.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I don't even know if healing's better. We could just make a 4/4 and a 2/4 and go face.
Yeah.
Like the 3.
I like the 4/4 part of the turn to start.
Okay, so we Drake.
Yeah. Wow.
I kind of like just playing everything. We really don't care about cards. So it's basically it's 2 health on a 3/6 better than a 2/4.
Might be.
Like, we could go 9/9/2/4 next turn. That's a consideration.
Also,
9/9 heal next turn.
Malagos. Dig for silence on Malagos. Draw.
I think this is right. Like, they don't have the Malagos. We just want to hurt this guy.
Yeah, but if he kills Malagos, they see
they
dead.
die, right?
No, he's not.
11.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, he's not. He's not. He can trade off 1 minion, right?
Oh, right.
Swiping the 4/4. Should put you right. Yeah.
Yeah. You just clear the board
Thinking Moonfire the way.
and you innovate the hero power. Yes.
And
Nice.
we can nourish.
Yeah. It's good. I like it.
Now he will play Rock and we are crying.
Oh my god.
We still just Medivh.
Yeah.
Do we emote? That's kind of BM.
No. Come on, it's for mulch.
No, don't emote.
Oh.
Again. So kind of you to join me.
Medivh being played, getting the value out of that
Don't
1/3 weapon. Frozen's very adamant about it.
Very nice, Frozen. Chalky, of course, had to be restrained.
Frozen's saying, I'm representing the Hearthstone Championship Tour with my play.
That's right.
We can't BM.
That's right. He's an ambassador now.
Blizzard will ban me.
Well, they want people to use emotes.
That's true. You have to walk a fine balance. That's why Squelch is in the game.
Well, Nourish helps them dig for cards. Malagos finally comes to the hand. Wrath, Moonfire clears. They can also Wild Growth Cycle here. Looks like most likely what they end up doing.
Yeah.
I think you want a Wrath Cycle to a certain degree because your hand's so weak. But then you're really stuck with nothing with the Malagos. Oh, maybe Raven Idol can pick up something.
Can pick up a cheap spell to help them remove some stuff off the board. Or another Raven Idol.
Raven Idol into nothing.
Yeah, looks like they're just going to go ahead and remove and hope that next turn Malagos can carry them to a victory.
Oh, man, but Ragnaros is just so much damage.
But they can 9/9 and 3-drop, so that way they can attack potentially with the 9/9 and play Rag in the same turn.
My work is paramount.
I don't know.
Leave me alone.
They don't have like any spells in this deck, so might as well just keep attacking.
Yeah. All right, well, that's looking like pretty much it here. Unless Raven Idol can really pick up something magical. Maybe a second Moonfire? No, it's not going to even be enough.
Savagery can be coupled with the Feral Rage the following turn. But maybe they feel like they need to just get Feral Rage and go for armor or something to follow up after Malygos is played to maybe stabilize them long enough to find a spell. But even then, if there's a 9/9 on the board, they're not really going to... 8 armor against a 9/9 doesn't do too much.
Yeah, so we know that they're essentially dead. I mean, they could armor for the Feral Rage here. I guess that's what they're going to be doing. And then just stall the inevitable, feels like.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to stall for Yogg-Saron.
Oh, that's a good point.
That's what they're trying to do. Their last hope is to dig for Yogg-Saron. And they're pretty thin on the cards. Maybe that's going to happen, Teach.
All right, well, let's listen to Luminosity to see if they can sniff it out.
Yogg probably doesn't clear it. Probably goes on the left, generally. I guess it doesn't matter in this deck. Because we don't have any minions that spawn on the right. Control where everything goes.
Bow down.
Nope. He's dead.
He's not dead.
Effective lethal.
It's not effective lethal. You could still
It
try.
is. We can put the Malygos. No, we can put the Malygos to. All right, let's
It's
get
not
some
lethal.
info.
Well, we're gonna either clear or kill him, so.
Oh. Lethal.
That Feel and Anduin gets the kill.
Yeah.
Why wasn't that a kill? Oh, it spawns the thing.
Oh no. Oh no. Never justice.
RB. You guys didn't stop me.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
you
that's
guys
on
don't
us.
have enough experience with Medivh the Guardian.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
We couldn't even hit.
Yeah, so a little awkward sequencing there.
The sheer look of confusion on Chaki's face as he goes for the kill, and he's like, no skull.
Forgot the interaction where he needs to play the spell before he attacks. But if he attacks, because he attacks before the Feral Rage comes in, he doesn't get the 4 damage. But by using the spell, he actually uses up the RTS charge.
Yeah.
So really funny interaction there. But the important thing, bottom line, was that Virtus.Pro was in a really bad spot, and the only card that can pull him out is if they had the Yogg-Saron and didn't feel like they had that remaining at their disposal. There was only like 4 or 5 cards remaining in their deck, but just drawn short there.
Yeah. Well, Luminosity now has a 4-1 lead in the series, so we'll see if they're going to close it out in quick fashion. Dan and I actually really do need a break this time. So we'll be right back. More Trinity Series after this.
Who's that pro?
The taunt is protecting the trade on the totem golem. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, okay, Bolt, right.
Welcome to Gadgeting! Not hard.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Hearthstone Trinity Series presented by ESL and Twitch. My name is TJ, joined once again by Frederikus Maximus III. And we're about to get into the next game here in the series between Luminosity and Virtus.Pro, and a pretty important match for both of these teams.
Yeah, you know, Virtus.Pro on the brink of elimination. We know Alliance is effectively out. Cloud9 is still hanging in the balance here, and Virtus.Pro could either hurt or help themselves and others too significantly through this series. That goes without saying that you want to win, but this is the week where they have no more room for error. You know, Virtus.Pro has to win this series, and they need to start by taking as far as they can with this Reno Warlock.
Yeah, Reno Warlock versus Priest, usually a pretty good matchup. We've seen Reno Warlock queued into Priest almost every single time that it's available as far as matchups in the Trinity Series have gone. But there are some choices that you can throw into your Priest that make the matchup a little bit better. I feel like two of them are already in the starting hand for Luminosity. Cabal Songstealer helps deal with Twilight Drake, which can be the bane of Priest's existence. And Draconid Crusher just having a 9/9 early on in the game. You can force out hard removal, then drop a 9/9, and sometimes the Warlock just can't deal with it, especially since the nature of Reno is that they have one-ofs of everything. If they don't have Siphon Soul, they're going to take some heat. Some hot heat.
All right, well, the Dragon Priest has been generally pretty effective against most decks, but one of the decks it does tend to struggle with is the Reno Warlock, so this does feel like it leans towards Virtus.Pro's ways. It does depend a little bit on the deck list themselves, on the varying differences in playing combo versus no combo, but Leroy in hand, very clear that Virtus.Pro is playing some kind of 20 damage burst to end the game.
Well, speaking of the devil, there's the Twilight Drake. Let's speak of the devil's devil. There's Cabal Songstealer.
The angels. Yeah, I guess you're right. The Cabal Songstealer, or is that what it's called? Songstealer? Yeah. That card definitely a little unusual to include in the list, but we've been seeing it be making appearances from time to time here at the Trinity Series. So let's see if it ends up becoming effective, whether they silence their opponent's minions or they end up grabbing tempo. We'll find out.
Still. So 3/4 man?
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
We're going to think for a while on it, and then we're going to inevitably play it.
You wish to live forever?
And yeah, only we're fine this way.
He just played the 4/7, I'm pretty sure. Especially when you can get another one with taunt.
Yeah.
Do you think just make 2/6 taunt?
I think so.
I think so too.
Alternatively, we could make a 1/3 and make a 3/6. Hope they don't. They're pretty prone to take the value trade, right? Yeah. You guys are probably right. So.
Are you mocking me?
Hit a dragon, make it 2/3.
Yeah. Do you think we do it? Probably do.
Why not?
Yeah, I like it.
We need it. Yeah.
Yeah, if they silence and then take the trade,
Yeah.
we want it.
Yeah, we need it, and we just need to hit it one more dragon, which we're pretty likely to do in the next few turns.
So we silenced 4/7 to a 1/1.
Yep.
It's pretty good. Nice tech card, boys.
Do we go full face after that though?
I think so.
So too.
There's MC Tech always. Yeah, let me check the tech list. They did bring MC Tech, I'm pretty sure, last week. Yeah, they did. They played Combo and MC Tech and Demon Wrath.
So many possibilities.
Yeah, so trading is a little better now.
I don't think we trade with our hand.
So, yeah, I think you're right. How do we want to trade into the 1/1, or do we?
Probably 2, 3. Actually, it's probably 3, 4 if we want to trade at all. If we don't want,
I don't like that very much.
I don't like that.
I mean, they all play into something, right? And I think Demon
So then
Wrap
I'll
is
face.
less chunky for them because there's more 3-drops. I'd rather them Hellfire.
We don't want to give them Coil, right? We can all agree on that.
Yeah. So we just go face.
We just all go face. That gives them Coil.
Yeah, well, no matter how we trade, we give them something, right? If we go all face, at least we're getting that value in, which is good for Rag and Crusher.
So we're most weak to just MC tech, but we weren't willing to play around that in the first place, so that's fine.
I like that mentality, TJ. A lot of times people are so afraid of what Reno Lock will have, but it's a one of everything, so it's an equal chance. And if you're going to do something, might as well get value out of it in the meantime. I think Zalay picked a really good line here.
Yeah, that's definitely a great point. It's kind of funny that everything that Luminosity wanted to play around was in Virtus.Pro's hand.
Yeah.
So, but Luminosity was spot on. I like the fact that they've done their prep and look back at the past weeks and have sort of caught the trends of what Virtus.Pro has been doing and are keeping track of it. It also, makes a nod to should you change things up from week to week. If teams are going to start, doing that prep and holding you accountable for the choices that you make with your decks, then you need to switch things up. Maybe one week go combo, maybe the next week don't go combo. Maybe one week throw in my control tech, maybe the next week put in a Black Knight or something along those lines.
Well, this is definitely an intimidating board, but Luminosity doesn't exactly have any Dragonfire potions or AoE.
They can just make a 9/9. It looks like that's what they're going to do.
Hope their opponent can't deal with it. They have 10, 13 damage onto the board, so they can deal with it by piecing together some stuff. In fact, they can almost deal with the entire board entirely and play Mountain Giant, but they're just a little off.
But is it worth it? Or is it better to just go all face or maybe trade into Songsteel or Reno and then try and find a better way to answer at the following turn? Because in order for them to clear off the board, they'd have to kill off their own board too. Effectively.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
So if they go like 4-3 and 3-3 into the... I guess they could keep their Talon Priest up if that were the case. So they could tap Hellfire, tap, trade in the 2-2 and the 4-3. The Songsteel, I guess it doesn't matter, 2-2, 3-3, whatever. Each one works.
Yeah.
And then keep the Talon Priest.
I'm looking at Leroy combat math. If you just wanted to play Leroy, I don't think that's any useful either, because you want to save Leroy. So it looks like instead they're just going to do exactly what you're talking about. Drop Mountain Giant. Try and hope that they're not just dead. And with 7 mana, it doesn't look like Ragnos will be an impact, at least for this turn.
Yeah, let's go ahead and listen in now to Luminosity and see how they're planning on closing out the game.
Good target for it, but it...
Kind of like the 2-1-4.
Well, if we corrupt her, we do just have lethal on board in theory.
We're starting with Discover, right?
Yes. Good call.
Ooh.
Oh, Operative might be better. We can get Nether.
Which one? I kind of like Deathwing. We're gonna, we're gonna rag on 8, right? And we're gonna try and force out all the stuff, and we gotta win somehow. I don't know. It's like Operative's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
So we could Blackwing face.
We could Blackwing face and put lethal on the table, or we could taunt.
Blackwing face also plays on cards here.
Blackwing face. Yeah. That's why I like it.
I like the Deathwing.
The Deathwing.
Blackwing face, we take Deathwing.
Okay, let's take Deathwing.
I don't know if Blackwing actually goes face, but I like the Deathwing.
I think Blackwing goes face.
Okay.
Unless we want to trade with John.
That might make life easy. Tap Reno.
We're gonna be rich.
Trading 3-4 and 1-1 into 5-4 and trading the Giant into 5-5.
I just full trade.
What?
Trading 3-4 and 1-1 into 5-4 and trading the Giant into 5-5. Double trade.
Yeah, just full trade.
Yeah, seems good.
I've been taking. All right.
We can always do that next turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, Reg's good.
Agree.
Reno Lock starter kit. Drake, Shambler, Giant Reno.
MC Tech wasn't.
So I tap, go with the potion. The next turn we're gonna play Brian Akazakas.
Yeah, and plan Mystics.
Yeah, so you tap. Blaskus draw.
Wanna trade with 1/3.
Trade Mystics.
No.
Pass.
Trust me.
Wanna trade or not? I mean, I don't really wanna trade it.
Try it.
Eating with 1/3 feels bad.
So, I think if they had the option, they would pick Deathwing, something like that.
That's true. And if they're going for it that much, yeah. For from Brand, we're gonna go for 10 potion first, and then we'll see if it's gonna be a good one. Then we're probably gonna go for 10 more, right? Now, yeah.
Yeah, we
so
haven't. So we didn't have our Doomsayer die, right? So that's pretty good in general.
Yeah, they're gonna have a pretty good pool of minions here. Maybe not so much, because Shambler comes back as a 1/1 and Twilight Drake comes back as a 4/1. But they'll have Reno, they have Giant. Lots of good stuff. See if they can pick up some good Kazakus potions here. You heard Namit's plan. They're gonna start with 10. See if they can pick up a good one. If they do, then maybe they can go cheaper from there.
This one's okay. Heart of Fire and Mystic Wool have some value in it. Not sure which one they picked there. I think dealing 8 damage might be more valuable, but transforming everything also has value because you can Demon Wrath of Hellfire the following turns. There we go. 6 damage AoE is really strong to just pick up. Looks like they picked up the 8/8 first. But, you know, again, I guess because they may have already picked up AoE, they don't need a second source of AoE. So 8 damage, 8 minion could be good. Or I still like 6 damage AoE because it covers a lot of the base minions from Dragon Priest. And right now things are looking a little iffy here for Luminosity. You know, what's interesting is that Jiraxxus, when you play it, you always kind of worry about having a really good post-Jiraxxus hand, being able to clear stuff and have AoE and good removal, and they could save Deathwing for after Jiraxxus. But they'd be dead to potential combo.
They'd be dead to potential combo, and also there's Sylvanas Shadow Flame in Virtus.Pro's hand, so they'd have to, you know, they would Deathwing, and the Deathwing would get stolen. They're at 15 health already, so they're so close to lethal just from that point along. So now it's about what they kill.
I don't hate the play, but it looks like they're toasty toast here. No matter what they do, there's going to be Leroy and Hellfire for maximum range.
Or just the 8 damage Kazakus potion.
Yeah, or just 8 damage Kazakus potion. Assuming that's exactly what they picked. Pretty sure they did.
I think they picked one of the 8 damage ones.
Well, now... Oh, actually, no, they're off by one. Okay, never mind. They picked it up. I was like, well, the way they actually traded and left Bran, I assumed that Bran was going to die, but
yeah,
you know, this way they left the least amount of damage on board. Now wrap up game number 6. Virtus.Pro showing some life in the series.
Yeah, I like the way that Luminosity took risks there with, you know, the Blackwing Corrupted Face to try and set up Rag Lethal, and then the Jiraxxus choice. But in the end, Virtus.Pro managed to navigate that series incredibly well. And with a favored matchup, are going to claw their way back into the series a little bit. 4-2 down now. And now Reno Lock gets to be countered by Luminosity, whatever they so choose. So not out of the woods just yet, but it's a great start.
Okay, so they have Reno Lock up right now, so then they could play anything that they feel like counters Reno Warlock. Virtus.Pro has pretty much this and Dragon Priest remaining, assuming that's what they're bringing. Not looking the best shape here for Virtus.Pro.
No,
they have to go. They have to win 2 games straight here in order to be competitive again with Luminosity's lineup. And when they see Dragon Priest and Reno Warlock with Druid up, for example,
Hunter
to counter the Reno Warlock,
Mage, all those decks are really good. Maybe not against the Priest, but definitely against the Warlock. They shouldn't have trouble beating the Warlock.
Yeah, it feels like Hunter can come out here in this spot. You design it to be able to kill Reno Warlock. It's one of the few decks that are popular and Hunter is good against.
Yeah.
So I'm liking it a lot.
Yeah, they can have the Hunter for the Warlock, and then they have their own Warlock for the inevitable Dragon Priest, which comes after. So Luminosity, this is about as close as it gets to sort of that checkmate position. Of course, it's never checkmate. You can always, even the favored matchups are still 60-40, 70-30. There's always still that chance that the other team can win. So definitely something to keep in mind as we move forward. Even though we're saying that they're favorable matchups and they're probably going to win, it's not a guaranteed thing.
Yep. I also don't mind Jade Druid being queued up here. I mean, you don't have to save Hunter for it. Hunter does do okay against Priest. It used to be favored in the past, but nowadays Priest is just so much more consistent early game and seizes that board away from Hunter that just feels a little bit weak. Maybe you don't even play Hunter for the rest of the series. You just turn from Jade Druid to counter Reno Lock, and then your opponent plays Dragon Priest, and then you finish off with your own Reno Warlock.
Yeah. All right, well, let's take a look at the Warlock success for some of the teams in the Trinity Series. This is the total number of Warlock wins throughout the 6 weeks so far, 5 weeks in part of week 6. Alliance, they were the team that had the sweep that 1 week. It wasn't a sweep, but they won all 6 of their games that week in their match with Reno Warlock. So that's sort of carrying their statistic. But at the moment, both of these teams that we're watching right now, Luminosity and Virtus.Pro, have had a lot of success with Warlock. 5 weeks so far, they've been able to average 1 win a week, which is exactly what you need as far as last year's standing goes.
Yeah, kind of surprising that Tempo Storm doesn't have any wins with Warlock, considering that it's such a well-rounded class right now. It's such a well-rounded deck in Reno Warlock. It feels like it can address almost any deck. And even if you are unfavored, you still have a chance of winning. And Luminosity going to turn to the Hunter to try to see if they can dissect the Reno Warlock. Definitely like this pick here. And even if Hunter fails, they still have Jade Druid.
Yep, still have Temple Mage, potentially, if it is Temple Mage. Could be switching it up for Luminosity and going with Reno Mage this week, since they, don't want to be too predictable, and they've been playing Temple Mage for a long time now. But taking a look at the opening hands, Virtus.Pro has a pretty good start. They keep Demon Wrath, Reno, and Imp King Boss in the opening hand, and also get an Earthring Farseer to help get them to that early game. So if there is going to be a hand that beats the Hunter, this might be, close to it.
All right, well, I don't know if you keep high main. A lot of times people think about, maybe I want to keep high main for the inevitable, but I think when you're on the play, you have to be a little bit more proactive with it, so definitely like throwing away everything. All right, let's go ahead and listen to Luminosity and see what they're thinking.
We don't need to look for 4s. Let's tracking for a 4.
No, I mean, it's way more important that...
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Do we take Rag?
Probably.
Well, we don't have a 4.
They free capped.
Alec might be a better...
I think Alec's just better. They showed Blast Crystal as well. Like, they had Blast Crystal Siphon.
Okay.
We should be able to just overwhelm them with little stuff. I want to play that.
Did we have the Fiery Bat? No, we cut it. Yeah, I remember now.
I want to play that on 2, not Kindly Grandmother.
Yeah, it hits harder.
Yeah.
Okay. They 3 capped, so...
Yeah.
Yikes.
Really lucky, like they have Coin Gang Boss or something like that, so... Might want a good companion here.
Alright, do we play the one we didn't tracking into, or the one we did tracking into?
That's what I'm pondering.
Let's play the one we tracking into.
That makes sense, because we would tracking for a 2-on-2.
It gives away less, they might think it's a 4-drop.
Okay. At least they don't have Twilight Drake, right?
Oh, God.
Yeah, Coin Gang Boss.
Alright, high roll.
So Leok and Misha are pretty solid.
Oh, that's probably better.
I would tend to agree that that's
that's better. That's just better.
Yeah, they have a small hand size. They're not going to Drake or Giant on 4.
Yep.
Oh.
And the boss really is problematic for deadly shots.
So they probably, there's a decent chance they have Kazakis.
Farseer, right?
Yeah, Farseer.
Yeah.
Funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, a good early start for Virtus.Pro. They're just able to stave off this pressure. You know, Luminosity not able to develop a threat, forcing to use a deadly shot on M-King Boss because M-King Boss could single-handedly take the board early on against Hunter. But this game is far from over. Hunter can definitely win out in the super late stages of the game just because of that consistent damage that they're able to put out.
Yeah, I guess for mid-range decks, Reno tends to have the least impact, and in that matchup, combo does have some relevance where Reno can, or does have a lot of the strength where Reno doesn't really matter much, where you just like burst them past 30, but not really the case in a lot of scenarios. But mid-range decks, they're so board-centric with how they accelerate their damage that it might not matter. So don't sleep on Hunter just yet, even though they're off to a slow start. That damage can rack in really quick.
So now the choice is between Demon Wrath and Hellfire. Demon Wrath is more damage efficient. Hellfire is more mana efficient. They're actually going to go with neither. And actually just go ahead and play Refreshment Vendor. I suppose this challenges the board the same way.
Savannah Highmane comes into the hand. It looks really mighty fine for the Hunter player in the next couple of turns. All three of the animal companions are okay. Misha stalls the Refreshment Vendor. Huffer gets the damage in. Leok adds a little bit of damage and makes you kind of resilient to board clears. Your opponent has to clear his own minion in order to do it. So, would you play that or Rat Pack? That is the question.
I think you can Animal Companion this turn. The one rough thing about Rat Pack is that you kind of want to set it up so that board buffs can make it stronger, but you also don't want to set it up because it's less power immediately, so it's kind of like a conundrum a little bit. And Luminosity can actually play around the AoE here. Definitely like this. Let's go and listen to Virtus.Pro, see how they're going to deal with it.
I like it a lot. This is high main turn, so...
Soulfire or Shieldbearer?
I like Shieldbearer more.
You don't like the Archer?
I don't like Archer. Like, why would you use it? Especially since we're losing Bram. Shieldbearer, right?
I don't like Archer. Is Soulfire or Shield?
Yeah, Soulfire or Shieldbearer. I mean, Soulfire, we can use it to kill him.
No. It's probably not
Shieldbearer, yeah. I think Shieldbearer. Huh? We don't need Soulfire? Is it the one?
It's not Soulfire. It's Shieldbearer.
Zeros, right?
Yeah, Shifter is one of the best cards you can get, I think.
They can run Murlocs.
I mean, if they run the Finder packet, we're gonna look a bit stupid. Might have to change my battery.
Like,
Okay.
half of a call wild.
So, your trades?
How do you want to do trades? You want to do Huffer into the Bran and Grandma into the 2/2?
Wait. What about Rat Pack in those 2/2?
You get 3 guys. They're pretty strong with Leok. You might have to siphon our Leok.
Okay, I can see that.
I like Grandma more. Or not the Grandma, the Rat Pack more.
No, I see what you mean. Yeah. Let's do that.
Down to 28.
Yeah, pushing.
Yeah, not exactly the position you want to be in, a Hunter. This late into the game, where they have a very flimsy board, but thankfully still can't be cleared just yet.
It's getting close to clearing. So, if we look how the pan out is, if Hellfire comes down this turn, next turn, if they can make the read that Savannah Highmane is in the hand, they can blast Crystal Potion Demon Wrath, which clears the board. And Luminosity has nothing left. So, as long as they don't take too much damage in the interim, which it doesn't look like they will, especially since they have Reno to stabilize, Virtus.Pro has some really nice pan outs as far as, how they can play in their hand.
Man, everything's kind of awkward here. Maybe you want to stall. You can play Demon Wrath to eliminate some damage, or Hellfire. Okay. Well, I was thinking Demon Wrath and then the Shield Bearer originally, because it kind of accomplished similar things, but Hellfire takes a little bit more, puts a little more damage on the Leok there, and I guess you could save Shield Bearer for something else.
Well, I think the big thing is making sure that they have mana next turn to Blast Crystal plus Demon Wrath.
Okay,
because the card that they had in hand was in hand for a long time.
Wow, actually, that makes a lot of sense then.
Yeah, so now there's just a full board clear.
That was really clever. I like it.
Yeah, Blast Crystal plus Demon Wrath is... I mean, I don't want to call this one early, but that might just lock the game up. Because Luminosity's got nothing left.
Well, they could pick up a Call of the Wild.
Or N'Zoth.
I'd be very shocked if they chose not to do that. What's the downside of Blast Crystal Potion and Demon Wrath? You lose a mana crystal, so you only have 7 next turn.
But that's the least of your worries. I mean, that's a tough thing to pass up. Maybe they want to get greedy, but I don't think this is the time to get greedy. Luminosity has 1 card left. I mean, I thought the Hellfire last turn was a nod to this exact play.
Yeah. But it looks like they're just going to go ahead and drop this bomb. Let's go ahead and listen to Luminosity.
Really good.
Right. When you do that.
Darn.
And you shoot him.
Good sound effects. Alright. You got me, Reno Lock. I'm dead.
You're never gonna get no. You're never gonna get more value from the shifter zeros than a Reno, right?
Go for it.
Extraordinary indeed.
I think you play it. Should better.
Actually, been play.
Okay, buddy.
Only mode for that.
I feel like 80 damage this game.
Good.
It's fine.
84.
84. Good.
I think we hold the
Can we concede now? Like,
Yeah, no. We can win this.
we can win this. Okay.
Yeah, we play a card that like single-handedly can win us the game.
Yeah, sure.
And double trade.
Double trade?
Yeah,
You trade the Desert Camel for sure.
Yeah,
Mistress into the 2.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would not get like this. I would go face.
20. In Call of the Wild, it doesn't help them that much because they're gonna have
I'd go face.
Okay, go
just
face.
just like to see like hippie.
No, it's because of. I mean, this is weaker to Exhaust, but it's a lot better against Call of the Wild, and I think Call of the Wild is a lot more threatening here.
Right. But they didn't have Call of the Wild.
Double giant next turn.
Double giant. Yeah, double giant. Yeah, works.
Win game. That's it.
This is a how.
So I'm trading my Kvaldir into the 2/2.
Yeah.
Actually,
What about the other way?
I like the other way.
The other way is slightly better, yeah. Because we don't care about face damage, right?
Yeah.
It's completely irrelevant.
Oh.
We need to just somehow win board and draw our good cards very, very soon.
Shadow Flame for Insult, in case there will be.
Just
Faceless the 8/8, and then you faceless manipulator the Shambler.
Attack, right?
I think you
it's fine.
attack. You attack, for sure.
You should attack, yeah. I mean, for 1/1.
Well then, this is when Reno comes from Shifter Xeris, and at one point in the game there's 3 8/8s on the board. I think you can pretty much call it a game.
Yeah, all of your board goes pretty much into one minion. They're going to try to play this out, but it's effectively over for quite some time now. And Luminosity is just kind of get more camera time, so they get more exposure.
Sure.
Make Luminosity feel like picking them up was worth it.
They're playing Hunter. It's cool.
Yeah. Trying to, getting that extra couple followers on social media. Like, wow, yeah, you're willing to play some underrated classes. Good for you.
And play it out to the end. How valiant.
Nice. Yeah, but in all seriousness, Hunter's not exactly an MVP class these days. And at best, it can beat one of these classes, 1-for-1. Sometimes maybe multiple. Doesn't seem like it's going to work out this time. Ugh. Looks like that's just not going to be enough here.
Well, Virtus.Pro starting to mount a comeback. 4-3 now with Lethal on board for him. Luminosity not able to get it done, and Leroy's just icing on the cake. This is when you play the Reno, just to show him, yeah, we had 2. Nah, no BM.
It's funny here when they're just like, wow, the Reno that they got was off the Shifter Series.
Yeah. Maybe didn't even want to play it. Bunny Hopper's telling him you're never going to get more value from Shifter Zeris.
Yeah.
That's a 4-6 that heals for 15. I don't care what you say, but now it's up to Luminosity to find a different deck that they're going to counter this Reno Warlock with. It's taken 2 wins in a row now.
Yeah, so Reno Lock, one of those decks that's really rock solid. I mean, most people really look at that deck and they think that it's when you queue up a counter to it, it crumbles, but not really the case there. There's a reason why Reno Warlock, or just Reno decks in general, have risen to popularity, because if they had the right answer at the right time, they're not unstoppable.
Yeah. All right. Still just Reno Lock and the Priest left for Virtus.Pro. Got to carry those the whole way through. Luminosity, their decks are starting to dwindle, but they still have a few options to try and deal with this Reno Lock. They have their own Warlock. They have a Mage, probably Tempo Mage, and then they have the Druid. So 2 favorable matchups, and then still the Warlock left to match up against the Priest. There's a chance that they're throwing a curveball this week with one of these decks. But Luminosity has tended to stick to their guns when they have innovated, like with Tempo Mage. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a guess that it's Tempo Mage again.
If it's Tempo Mage, they should queue that up here as well. Jade Druid's also a good pick. They're still in a really good dominant position. They're in the driver's seat for sure. Any counter that they pick up might be susceptible to Dragon Priest, but then they have the final say. Like, Luminosity has a lot of breathing room here, even if they drop one more game.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm curious if Luminosity is going to try and innovate, because they're in such a good spot in the standings right now.
I think they want to secure the playoff spots before they want to innovate. If they secure the playoff spots by this week, then maybe next week they can bring some fun stuff. If the patch drops, for example. We don't know exactly when the patch drops. There's a theory that it's on Tuesday, so today is the 22nd. So a week from now, February will be over, effectively, and that should be when the patch hits, because it's on Tuesdays. That might mean a completely different meta going into Trinity Series.
When the patch hits, patches gets hit.
Yeah.
Sometimes I crack myself up, Dan.
That's the most important thing, TJ, is as long as you make yourself laugh.
That's what I always shoot for.
Tempo Mage it is. Double Flame Waker. All the way. What does it mean? Arcane Missiles and Arcane Intellect.
What does that mean?
It means there's going to be some fireworks, TJ.
Yes, there is. Zolay's just lounging. He's having a good old time. I got to play Hunter in a competitive match.
Oh, wow, yeah. He's giving us the intimate inner thigh shot there. At first, I wasn't sure. I was like, wow, is that his arm? I'm like, no. Might not even be his leg. Whoa. Could just be some random prosthetic just chilling out there. But yeah, he's in a comfortable position to be sure. Up 4-2, or 4-3, has to just win 2 more games in a nice, favorable matchup.
Holy moly! Now that's a hand. Turn 4, Twilight Drake. Turn 5, Mountain Giant. Turn 6, Emperor Thor sound. But let's go ahead and listen to Luminosity, see how they're planning out their early turns.
No, you still do it.
You do it, for sure.
Yeah.
Get him, Zalay.
If you Doomsayers, I just top deck burn, kill that thing. I could just missiles it down, right? Like, that could work.
No.
Alright. Chain the other Waker. Now what?
Do it.
Frozen's in a hurry.
Yeah, we gotta get this done.
He can play Fireball, right?
You can play Fireball.
We still Drake.
I think you still Twilight Drake.
Yeah. Yeah. They're definitely going to Fireball. Yeah, gonna be kind of bad, but we have
But they can still double.
No.
Double
I mean, if they play Fireball, it goes face twice, for sure.
Do it. Stop. Do it. Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous.
Oh my
Nailed it. Easy.
See? You were so close to being too nervous. Muzzy died for this.
Alright, we're gonna bully him.
Oh, Flamewaker gets it done.
Yeah, you know, Flamewaker being on a board position like this just amplifies their damage significantly. You can sort of interpret Flamewaker as +2 spell damage minion, which is very, very, very threatening, considering that their deck is just outfitted with a bunch of damage. But the big question isn't about we're gonna have to deal with this Flamewaker, but it's about what Luminosity can follow up on it. You know, usually the Flamewaker allows you to build up a bigger board that gets unharmed, and you don't have to trade Flamewaker in. In this case, Doomsayer gets pushed out. Does Luminosity just try to draw with Arcane Intellect first? Maybe they play Sorcerer's Apprentice because they're that confident in being able to deal with it.
Well, if they play Sorcerer's Apprentice, what it also does is let them fit in an extra 2-mana spell. Because if they play Sorcerer's Apprentice and Arcane Intellect, and with plans on playing Arcane Missiles, they've already discounted 2, so that means their last mana they can fit in another one. So they could, if they picked up a Frostbolt, then Sorcerer's Apprentice plus Arcane Intellect would actually be beneficial for them on this turn. So there actually is some merit to playing the Sorcerer's Apprentice outside of just they're feeling, well, I guess not outside, they're just feeling lucky. But if they really feel like they can pick up either a Frostbolt or an extra 1-mana spell, then they should go for it.
It does seem likely. Arcane Blast, Mirror Images, Arcane Missiles #2.
Let's see, Mana Worm. Oh no, and bullshots go face.
Oh really? They're gonna Mana Worm?
That's bold. This is very unlikely that this clears.
Yeah.
Very, very unlikely.
Oh wow. I mean, if it's not gonna kill the minion, you'd probably want him to go all face, and everything except for one hit did.
Yeah. Well, let's go and listen into Virtus.Pro and see what they think of that play.
Yeah, but we are dying to spells.
Yeah. But we don't have a choice.
Play Improving Pass.
This is what I was saying about tapping.
It's gonna enable us to play Giant plus Shambler next turn.
Yeah.
Odds of
Let's play the bully and then the worm and then pass.
This got real
real ugly. Yeah. Unlucky.
Okay, well, bully worm, I guess. I'm down for that.
What to do?
Luminosity, team communication falls apart. They're very nervous. Miss all the missiles.
It was a 50-50.
I think the communication was perfect. We talked through everything, took our best odds, and got blown out. Blown out.
That was not a 50-50. We had to hit 5 out of 7.
Yeah.
It was not a
best odds.
50-50. I understand what you mean, though, Frozen. Like we had to kill it that turn if they have Emperor on 6.
I'm portaling face.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good play.
Oh yeah, we have to.
And then draw Fireball.
Yeah.
I didn't have a specific reason. It just seemed like.
Well, now we have a specific reason with the first draw.
No, I mean you're right. Now there's a specific. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
Hidden Earth Elemental still gets farmed on board.
Oh, that Earth Alley would be good.
The game begins.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That one's good. All right.
If they don't heal and they don't kill us,
They life
we got
tap.
a 1 in 17.
They freak out like they did that one turn with the Doomsayer and the Soulfire.
Maybe they just... Remember when they traded the 12 attack guy into a...
Oh, the fraud. Yeah, they think we have a plan. They overthink it a lot. Yeah. Good.
And then the red.
I like tapping, I think. We need to
Not
tap.
like tapping.
What does kill us with tap? Nothing, right?
Fireball and frost. Yeah, it's gonna be the same. Fireball and frostbolt.
So you tap.
Okay, Bran and Forseer.
Yeah,
and I played
first
red.
here.
I wanna play the red because yeah.
Why?
I
Don't
think
you
we
just
play-
do this? Wait. Don't you just trade the Emperor in the 3/4, the 8/8 in the 4/6, and the other one goes face instead of lethal? Wait. You can also go double face. And this still sets up lethal.
But
Oh, it really seems like Luminosity's team communication has fallen apart.
Yeah, missing the missiles.
Yeah, seems like they're getting nervous. Causing a little riff in their play.
I know. How can they ever come back from this? Well, on a slightly more serious note, they can't actually come back from this. I guess they need to clear as much as they can of the board. They can ping something. They can Arcane Blast and Firelance Portal something.
I think everything that they do... they can do that, but the thing is they need to like set up a lethal for like the next turn.
Right.
Which I don't know if that's possible from 14 with the hand that they had. They'd have to throw one of these burn spells to face. And I'm pretty sure if that's the case, then they aren't clearing enough damage off the board. They can clear off the Emperor and then hope that not a single point of damage is in the hand from Virtus.Pro. Because right now there's 21 points of damage being represented. I guess Frostbolting Face cuts out Jiraxxus as an out, but you can see that they have Hellfire. And Virtus.Pro ties up the series.
Yeah, making it interesting.
The nerves must really be getting the Luminosity at this point.
Yeah, if they just would calm down and stop being so goddamn nervous all the time, stop choking so bad, TJ, then they wouldn't throw this lead that they have, and now the series is tied.
Yeah.
Nerves, TJ.
Nerves. That's all comes down to nerves. Don't be nervous, LA. It's okay.
That's right. You're going to make it, buddy. Or will they? I mean, that's 3 in a row for the Arena Warlock. So all of a sudden, the series, which started off very promising for Luminosity, is now starting to go the other way. Momentum is on the side of Virtus.Pro. And if I was in Luminosity's seat, I'd be pretty nervous.
I would be, yeah. This is actually starting to get to the point where you would be. But Luminosity still has the counter advantage. You know, since they lost the last match, it means that they can choose the counter deck going into what could be like a decider point. And they also have matchup advantage because now they can pick the Druid. If it is Jade Druid, it has a good matchup against Warlock. And then their Warlock, in theory, should have a good matchup against the Dragon Priest, in theory, if they were to queue the Dragon Priest afterwards, which they would be the only deck remaining. So if it pans out for Luminosity the way that we've been saying it's supposed to pan out for the last 3 games, then Luminosity still has an edge. But that edge has gone from 80% to 70% to 60%. So
now it's,
now
it's definitely like an edge still. You know, they have Druid to queue up into the Reno Warlock, and then Dragon Priest comes into it, and then they have Reno Warlock for the final say. But, like you said, you know, Virtus.Pro has momentum and the nerves advantage. Because they're a lot calmer than Luminosity right now.
Yeah, I even mentioned it early on. I said Virtus.Pro's a calm team. Or, as you understood it, a comp team.
Yeah, a comp team.
They are a comp team also.
They do seem to take everyone's input, as in contrast to Cloud9.
They're also competitive, which fits in with comp team.
They're also complete, a 3-man roster.
They also are a comp team because they communicate.
Yeah.
They use comms.
They're also competent.
They are.
Yeah.
I'm out of.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. That's all of them. Those are all of the things that Virtus.Pro is.
You know what? When I look at that face from Jockey, you know what it says to me?
Fear.
Fear, anxiety,
That is
pressure.
Tall.
You can get that just from staring at the webcam.
Facial structure.
Chalky is actually like freakishly tall. He's got like that Raynat effect where like you don't really you know that he's tall and you see it, you kind of like say, yeah, he's probably pretty big. But they're really tall and they hunch over a lot. Like Chalky hunches a lot, so like he could be even taller. You know?
Yeah. Sometimes Chalky just lifts people up and carries them around.
Yeah, I guess so.
When I the first time I saw Chalky, he was on King of the Hill. ESL's King of the Hill in like 2014. And I was like, wow, you know, he was like hunched over and his webcam was far away, so he looked like small and sheepish. And then
yeah, I guess so.
And then I saw him. I didn't
compared to like, you know, he just like picks up Noxious off the ground and puts him on his shoulder.
When he came
like
to
tree beard.
When he came to the ESL Legendary Series LAN finals, the first time I met him, and I didn't believe that was him because he had gotten a haircut, and you know, I was like, you're not Chalky.
You're just dad. Or you know, he's like the kids from BoJack Horseman that's like stacked 3 kids in a trench coat. It's like get out. There's like Chalky's actually like 3 little dwarves.
I opened up his jacket looking for the second guy.
Yeah. It's like, take off that Luminosity jersey. It's like Chalky and Chalky's brother. Oh man, you guys got me again. Shouldn't have been so darn nervous.
Oh. Well, getting back to the game, Jade Blossom coming out, turn in for turn 3. Let's go and listen to Virtus.Pro.
So playing first here.
I think you just play.
Maybe in brown.
Why brown? I mean, if you're gonna get Kazakh.
Stop them from developing something.
Yeah, stop him from Azure Drake. We didn't have answer for Azure Drake.
Oh yeah, true.
So many possibilities. Who knows what secrets will uncover?
Why we need brown? For Kazakhos, double potion?
Yeah, Kazakh's double potion, that's basically it. But I mean, it's not gonna be that important. It's just about early game. Yeah, early back control.
To stop him playing something.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and we kind of need the cycle with the sand.
What to do?
Yeah. So we're digging the swipe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Go away, Bran. Nobody likes you.
Or
Bender, I think. Just the same, does even more.
Well, Luminosity. It's hard. It's always hard to tell, you know, how good the hand is from the Jade Druid because it all depends on how fast they get these Jades up. But Jade Behemoth and the Jade Behemoth, I would say is pretty good, and they have all the hard removal that they need for some of these big threats that can really punish them that come out from Arena Warlock.
Yeah, definitely here. Reno Warlock can deal with the first wave of threats, even the second and third wave of threats, but when Jade Druid starts putting out 5/5s and 6/6s consistently and they don't even have access to Twisting Nether or Shadow Flame anymore, it starts becoming a problem. Part of the issue for Luminosity long-term is, you know, what happens if they run out of resources? You know, they got 2 Mulches, you know, Wrath and Wild Growth, and that helps them stall for a little bit, but what if Reno Warlock just outdraws them and outvalues them so much to the point where Jade Druid's having very weak turns?
Yeah.
And then you just look at the fact that they're playing Leroy Jenkinson's Power Overwhelming. That makes the matchup a lot better because it gives you a way to pressure the Druid yourself if you're able to get some damage in.
Or out-tempo by, you know, effectively drawing, what, 3.5 innervates by getting an Emperor Thorsen on 6 with 7 activations. 7 coins, yeah. Abyssal Enforcer seems like it's going to line up, you know, quite nicely against this board potentially. Maybe not so much now with these trades from Luminosity, trading off their smaller minions. But I'd still say it's pretty good.
Yeah, looks like Abyssal Enforcer lines up pretty nicely with everything this turn.
see if Luminosity can find the resources that they need. Let's go ahead and listen in and hear their thoughts.
You want to mulch that?
I think so.
Well, okay, so they play like Mountain Giant, Shambler, Rag.
I didn't play Rag yet. We see it from the Discover?
Oh, I was just kind of assuming, actually.
We didn't see a Rag.
I think we saw it in Discover. I could be wrong, though.
No, you're wrong. Yeah.
Okay.
There's no Rag.
But then we kind of want to... We could also cycle the Wrath and then play the Jade Spirit and the Hero Power. I think we want to cycle the Wrath.
You think we don't mulch?
I think the mulch is pretty reasonable here.
Yeah, mulch is reasonable as well.
I like the mulch.
The issue with mulch is that we walk into a Twisting Nether turn, right?
Twisting Nether turn doesn't matter that much. They will never Twisting Nether this board, ever.
Okay. Well, good. Let's do this.
Mulch is such a scary card.
At least it's gonna stick to the board for Shadow Flame.
Yeah, but you need to find Shadow Flame.
So I guess I'm tapping.
Do we tap?
Why not? I'm actually playing Reno right now.
What? Isn't by the play Sylvanas and Foxy?
Sylvanas and Foxy.
I think Sylvanas and Foxy is good.
So just to get their board, to get the board back.
Yeah,
yes.
Basically.
How about tap and Sylvanas?
You might die. 8 damage.
6-9.
No tap.
I have no time for games.
I mean, hopefully the hand is just bad.
I mean, Sylvanas basically says go face. Right? It's basically what Sylvanas.
Well, Virtus.Pro gets a Dreadsteed. Sweet.
Yeah, Dreadsteed's pretty cool. But if you're talking about the game of infinites, I think Jade Druid's got Dreadsteed covered in spades. Or in Jades.
Dreadsteed can do some work, though.
Yeah, I guess so.
Let's be for realsies here.
Well, I mean, if you want to be for real, Dreadsteed just kind of is too weak when you're going to play Jade Idol every turn and you get a 1/1 back every turn. It's just not even on the same planet.
Yeah.
Not even the same dimension.
Yeah.
Or same galaxy. Which was bigger? I think the dimension's bigger. So it's not even the same universe, TJ.
I think dimensions are neither big nor small. Oh, dude. Kazakius seems pretty good, but probably... Oh, no, they've already used Brand. So, yeah, I guess Kazakius is great. I was going to say, maybe they want to wait for it. Icar of Undeath. Not bad. They've had an Emperor Thorsan die this game. Sylvanas. That's actually really good.
Yep. I like Icar of Death over the Netherbloom. Netherbloom is pretty annoying for your opponent to deal with, though.
Yeah, and 6 damage to all minions. Most likely the choice now that the Jades are still reasonable. Still a couple turns away, though, so maybe the Jades are going to get out of range of that. But I guess they have Reno to stabilize for another turn. They have Blast Crystal Potion. Yep, there it is. The juice.
Ragnaros comes into the hand, or sorry, Nourish comes in the hand, and they had a Ragnaros planned up at those turn. I think they can start off with Wild Growth to see if they want to increase their odds of drawing something playable. But Ragnaros seems like a very good choice, given that your opponent's going to be on low health. They have a maximum of 8, 10, 15, 16 damage. I don't think anything from Wild Growth can set them up for a better lethal opportunity.
No.
And if they do happen to drop the Ragnaros, that's going to run to a Blast Crystal Potion and a Reno Jackson. So that's going to be really devastating. I mean, I'm starting to sense that Virtus.Pro has the grip here.
Yeah, well, let's go listen to Luminosity and see what they're trying to set up with this Nourish.
I think as a Drake Valley trade.
Oh no, it's not the potion time.
No, it's Drake.
I thought it was potion time.
Drake Jackson.
I like Twilight Drake Jackson.
We're gonna be rich.
Our gadget turn, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
With Innervate first, right?
Wild growth. Wild growth.
Yeah.
We want to mulch the.
Yeah, we do.
We still have to deal with Mountain Giant Shambler, and both mulches are down, so it's actually pretty like problematic.
But it's a 4/10.
Yeah, I think
Right.
so. I want to draw a Jade Idol here.
Nice. Make it
Just play
6/6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trade in the 5/2 and the 2/3. I made 10 mana pot us here. It's really bad. They got the nuts.
I have no time for games.
They really got the
Got
nuts.
the absolute nuts. Alright, so we're gonna Feral Rage one down. We can go
Feral Rage, Hero Power.
Feral Rage, Hero Power, and then we could
Jade
either
Idol, Wrath. Blossom Wrath.
Blossom Wrath. Yeah, make 7/7 and Wrath this guy.
So Feral Rage, Hero Power first.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so we're doing that. Now, do we want to, yeah, I mean, there's
Can't do
really
anything else.
nothing else. Yeah. We could leave the 3/3 to go for Fandral Wrath next turn.
And just play Wild Growth.
Yeah.
No, I think we don't. We need to take less damage. Take minimum damage.
I agree with that. Like, they play Leroy, we have Nourish for draw if we need that draw later.
Okay. Got a Swipe in the deck. We got Aya in the deck. We have an Idol, an Innervate, and an Azure Drake.
Well, it's looking pretty good for Virtus.Pro.
Yeah, no jokes on Luminosity's comms
Yeah.
anymore. It feels like they're all business, TJ.
They could have actually... Huh. Okay, I guess Blast Crystal Potion. I was saying they could have gone Power Overwhelming on the Abyssal Enforcer, then hit face, Shamblered, and then silence their own Abyssal Enforcer to have a 10/10 on board.
I think they also want to keep the Power Overwhelming in case they draw Face Manipulator, because now they've gotten within the critical health range where they can just combo Druid down.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because that's actually a real, very scary thing for Luminosity to consider moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility they just win next turn if this Rag is to miss. So let's see. Actually, no matter where this Rag hits, this is just game for Virtus.Pro.
Yeah, look at that. Virtus.Pro.
Whoa!
4 in a row.
Yeah, they have 16 damage with Leroy Power Overwhelming plus the hit on board, plus the Hellfire gets together enough, and Luminosity, not many jokes now.
Nah, just nerves.
Just nerves. Yeah, this is starting to...
Wow, what a comeback so far by Virtus.Pro, keeping their hopes alive. And remember, Luminosity was feeling so good about locking up their playoff spot this week, but if they lose one more game, and I mean, based off the way the trends are going, it's going to be that way, because now they enter an unfavorable matchup. They had 3 favorable matchups in a row, lost every single one of them, and now they're in a matchup where they're actually unfavored at this point.
Yeah.
That's got to make them nervous, TJ.
Yeah, this is not good. And Luminosity was talking about last week how they were confident coming in the last couple weeks because they were playing against teams that were lower in the standings, and the teams that were even with them in the standings are playing against each other. So at least Luminosity, if they do lose this series, can take solace in the fact that there's going to be another team between G2 and Complexity that's at the top of the standings right now that's also going to fall down to that 3-3. But this was a crucial week, and if Luminosity loses this, it's going to be a pretty devastating blow. But we could see, we've seen Virtus.Pro now win a bunch of unfavorable matchups in a row. So now, effectively, Luminosity has to win a mirror.
Yeah,
they still have a favorable matchup.
I apologize. I thought it was the Dragon Priest coming up. That's on the Virtus.Pro side, I think. I misread the the screens there. So yeah, it's actually a Reno Warlock mirror, but
Still close.
It depends also on what type of Reno Lock that they're playing too. If they're not playing a power overwhelming Leroy Jenkins version of it, then they're going to be at disadvantage. If they do, then they're going to be pretty even.
Yeah, that matchup can get explosive really quickly if it's double combo Reno Warlocks facing off against each other, because you tap down to a range where combo kills you for most of the game. So as soon as someone pieces together that combo, it's game over usually right from the get or right off the bat as soon as that happens. So can get explosive, but definitely a fun matchup. It's going to be Warlock versus Warlock, and we'll see if Luminosity can bring it back at a deficit for the first time in this match so far.
All right. Well, Luminosity is going to depend on Frozen, the member from Luminosity, to make an HCT championship berth in the Bahamas at the end of March. Naaman is going to stay on this Reno Warlock, which will be looking to get 5 wins in a row to close out that series and keep their playoff hopes alive, while simultaneously being the gatekeeper to Luminosity, which hasn't locked up a spot just yet. They'd be the first team to lock up their spot if they were to get the win. But it doesn't seem like it's happening so far, TJ. And, you know, with cards like Shadow Flame, it actually does make me think that they do play the Leroy Jenkins combo, because it is part of the package.
But with cards like Cabal Courier, it makes me think the opposite.
Okay.
Because that's a card that's usually a luxury choice.
Right. Some people cut that.
Yeah.
Well, Shadow Flame, the reason why you play Shadow Flame, you play Sylvanas, and then it works really well with Power Overwhelming. It works really well with Leroy Jenkins. It just kind of all fits together. If you're going to play like an anti-aggro version of the Reno Warlock, which, 1, doesn't make sense because you're banning pirates, but 2, you're going to be able, you're probably going to not really have good Shadow Flame targets all the way because you're always so low drop oriented.
Yeah.
So instead, you play a bunch of small heals, a bunch of small 1-drops like Mixtures of Mixtures, etc. Soulfire, Voidwalker, Corruption. Some people even play Frost Elemental.
Yeah.
Instead of Emperor Thorazan.
Yeah.
There's a lot of options at disposal, which is why people are very fond of Reno decks, which will soon be called Kazakus decks.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that what we're going to call it?
I'd imagine so. Whatever the card is, it found in all of the decks, yeah. But we'll have to see.
Or Kazamicus decks. I think is the
decks.
actual term that we like to use around here.
The official term. This is a great Doomsayer. They saw Virtus.Pro just tapping towards that 4-drop, and now they have an Aqua turn, so let's go and listen in.
You finally for 5 mana potion?
I really want to go for 5. Because then we can just get Summon, and we can get Polymorph. So yeah, we should go for that one.
I think you go for Kazakus and go for 5 mana.
Yeah.
So many possibilities, a worthy disciple.
Yeah, summon 2.
It's probably deal. There's two cards to bet. Side the free so
Deal 4?
It's either deal 4 or freeze.
yeah.
But after freeze you need to kill minions.
So we have Shadow Flame, we might go for freeze actually. Yeah, I think freeze is gonna be better.
Yeah,
It depends on what they have.
Freeze.
Yeah.
I will pick freeze.
Yeah, you have a freeze mage. Because of the potion.
Just play giant.
Yeah, just giant.
If we Emperor, it's discounting Sylve Shadow Flame.
I think Sylva's better.
Shambler never good?
Yeah, if we play Shambler, we have to bump, right?
Why?
So
For Shambler.
possibilities.
Oh, his Shambler, yeah.
Point Sylve blocks their Emperor turn really hard.
Yeah.
think it's coin itself.
So many
Okay.
possibilities.
Pretty down with that. Like, it gets us a nice Emperor turn, I feel like, a lot of the time.
Do we bump?
I
Or
have no
No.
time.
shouldn't, right?
No.
Ooh, Frozen still, despite all the stuff that's been going against him recently, Frozen's still locked in. He's saying, I have to be aware of this, and the team's asking why. He's explaining it, and it seems to be exactly what's falling into place here. Disrupting their Emperor turn, which wasn't in the hand prior to it, but that was a top deck. Otherwise, it would have been something that been disrupted to Luminosity because they want to drop their Emperor turn.
He did play like 62 matches of competitive Hearthstone over the weekend, though, approximately.
Yeah.
So he's in the zone.
Rounding up, of course.
Yeah, he's in the zone.
Still, that is quite the Hearthstone high.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't really tell you that when you first download the game. Just you enter a couple tournaments, and then 2 weeks pass by, and you don't even know what hit you.
Yeah.
And
we have a big pile of money.
The salt crash is pretty high. Looks like Virtus.Pro. Oh, wow. I was not expecting this play. This is kind of crazy.
Yeah, this is going to open up effectively a free Emperor turn here for Luminosity.
Yeah.
Mixtures of Mixtures is going to be the guy that comes out of there. Now, one thing that they do have is the potion. They have the Kazakus potion with Regis, so they're going to be able to get that Mountain Giant back. And right now their pool is just Kazakus and Mountain Giant. So if they went for that this turn, they wouldn't kill the Emperor, but they would get a Mountain Giant and freeze the board.
Yeah, I got to say that it all stemmed from, Frozen saying, let's coin out Sylvanas. Because that started a string of events where now Virtus.Pro is going to forever be on the back foot. Because if they use their power overwhelming here, that's effectively part of their combo that they parted ways with. Last turn, they could have used that power overwhelming to help them into advantage if they wanted to do something like steal their opponent's minions. It doesn't really seem like it's going to be the case here. Now, what are they thinking about? Looking like they're hovering over the Kazakus potion that helps them clear, get some board presence. I was actually thinking about power overwhelming their own
I have no time
Sylvanas at first place, but I also liked playing power overwhelming and also playing your own Emperor Thor's hand because it kind of did the same thing.
Yeah.
There's so many options this turn. It actually kind of boggles my mind here.
Yeah, and they settle on this one, but now let's go and listen in to Luminosity as they have a tough board to deal with.
I don't mind Rag.
We could Courier.
Courier's not very likely to get anything.
Yeah.
But they have Faceless in their deck, so we could get pretty punished.
Yeah, but then they could miss. Like, I don't know. We're certainly in a.
They get the Emperor reduction? They didn't, right?
They did not.
You do.
You do?
No.
Oh.
I didn't see the animation go off. I don't think they do.
Okay. They didn't, yeah.
Do we go Cabal Courier? Or do we go Rag?
Rag.
Do we play the Mistress?
Yes.
Side effects? No. Trust me.
What we are doing now?
I guess going
Can
for...
we just play... what?
Faceless?
Are they going to play the Faceless?
That's cool.
Tap Faceless.
I think you tab, hit the 2/2 and play Faceless. Faceless the Ragnaros.
Can do it. Come on.
Yes.
Okay, we got PO Shadow Flame plays here now. So, can we get a 4-attack minion?
No.
Not really.
I think we go for the Courier.
Okay.
We can always dirty rat out a Doomsayer.
Flame Strike seems more powerful than Chemist. What are we doing this turn?
Chemist, we can get Blast Crystal.
Not this turn, no.
Strike. Flame Strike's so slow. I think we go Dirty Rat, PO, Shadow Flame. Take the Flame Strike for next turn.
Okay. Oh my god.
I think we go tap Kazakus now.
Taking a
Do it
10.
quick. Do it quick if you're going to Kazakus.
Ooh. Take a 5.
This is sketchy. What did we get?
Demons and +4 minions. +4.
Yeah. Did you actually pick or did it rope you out?
I picked.
Okay.
Just go Hellfire and trade with
Think
I don't think you go for Hellfire.
You just tap, right?
Just tap.
tap.
So many possibilities.
Farseer, okay, so Farseer, Drino? Oh no, it's not gonna work.
We don't Hellfire or Sword. Do we?
How do you wanna deal with this?
Do you want to deal with it?
I mean, I wanna hit face with Rina, with Drag. That's really important.
Is it?
Yeah, it's important. Why not?
What is their way out? I mean, you could just trade the 2/4 into the 2/6. Trade the Emperor and then heal the Emperor.
I like it more.
I like Hellfire.
I don't
I
like
don't.
Hellfire.
I don't like it at all.
So many possibilities.
You're also supposed to hit first and then.
But to hit first?
Yeah, hit first. No, this.
Just one more damage.
Oh yeah, okay. What do you mean I don't like this play? I like Hellfire. Fire was a better play, I think.
Trade Hellfire, you mean?
It wasn't but the play.
Just for Rag to hit face.
Into dislocator.
Okay.
Whoa, a big steal.
What a swing.
Now they can tap Blast Crystal Potion on the Rag. Still be in a good spot. They know that they're not even in any type of threat to be killed by combo because Faceless Manipulator and Power Overwhelming have already been used.
Yeah, and unlikely your opponent can follow up on this kind of board too.
Don't call it a comeback.
It's nice and back and forth we've got going over here. Virtus.Pro has the clear right now, though. Oh, they're going to use their Kazakus potion. They get a Mountain Giant. That's pretty massive.
Yeah, they haven't really had many minions die. Kazakus, Mountain Giant, Rag.
It feels like they maybe should have considered trading into the Emperor Thorstand first. But I guess if they tap into Mortal Coil, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's actually below average because their pool was only 4 minions. It was Mountain Giant, Sylvanas, Ragnaros, and Kazakus. Those are the 4 minions that died this game for them.
As well as a 1/1.
Oh yeah, 1/1 died.
one
Okay,
hit.
okay, yeah, you're right. So
it's definitely above average.
yeah,
I dragged the average way down.
yeah.
I mean, they have a pretty big hand here, but they're going to play around Mind Control Tech and AoE in general. Like,
Well, Mind Control Tech was already used.
Oh, you're right. They're going to play around AoE and a lot of any kind of board sweepers. I think that's pretty safe. Shadow Flame hasn't been used, so that could have been pretty bad if they extended into it.
Oh, they can actually Mountain Giant, Shambler, and Shadow Flame if they want to.
Yeah, it's really strong. Oh, interesting. They Shadow Flamed the Shambler because they're playing around Silence.
Yeah,
That's cool. I like that.
They saw Spellbreaker
Yeah.
last game, so want to make sure that 8/8's going to stick or at least have to bait out some hard removal.
Yeah, normally it's better to hold on to something that has taunt so that way you can mess up your opponent's combat math, but that makes it a lot better.
Yeah, well, let's go and listen into Virtus.Pro. They have a lot of tough options here. Let's see what they're going to go with.
And you can use our time to think more.
I'm not sure if
Yeah,
it's twisting now there.
I mean, we don't have any removal. Just need to
You
keep
can
the
play
giant.
Leroy.
Leroy, how about giving away Leroy? Just Leroy trade Hellfire, and then playing the Emperor.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
That's a lot better, yeah. We can't tap then. You just go face.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You play Hellfire? We should have to go. What about tap Doomsayer? Never mind.
No, I
I like the Emperor, yeah.
Alright, that's their third discount. Good stuff.
So.
I guess.
Go on the tap.
Which I reduced by 1.
Tapping. If I'm gonna find removal, then I'm gonna play it. If not, then probably twist another, even though they have the potion left.
We could just go tap and then Bran Refreshment Vendor.
We can save Bran for what? For Peddler, just for Peddler.
But what do we want from Peddler even? We don't care, do we?
Yeah, we don't.
We could go Bran Refreshment Vendor.
EP.
I don't like twisting either.
Yeah, we don't like
I think Bran Refreshment Vendor, and then you can faceless the vendor.
Do we faceless?
I think we can faceless because they don't have any AoE removal, so they have just twisting error. And yeah, that's it. So Hippie, do you like faceless chapter? I like it.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Thank you.
If you like it, boss, play it.
They're so afraid of it already.
Yeah, I know.
They do run Peddler. Yes, they double Peddlered us into Shifter's Heirs into Reno earlier.
So we kind of want to kill the Bran.
Yeah.
Do they have any bigger targets?
They have Ragnaros.
Wait, they do?
Their deck.
In their deck?
Yeah, we saw it off the Discover in the pre-game, I'm pretty sure.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Okay.
Go.
Okay.
What about tap, Gang Boss, Kazakus Potion?
I wonder.
Bill? It's only Peddler that they have that.
Like, does Flame Strike? I guess Flame Strike's.
I like that. They can't play around this Flame Strike. Like, it's gonna get them.
One of these days.
Yeah, one of these days.
So we're just leaving it up? Okay. And
well, Luminosity has a big board, but Virtus.Pro can twisting Doomsayer if they want and then follow it up with a Jiraxis, but they don't really have any way to protect post-Jiraxis, so that's a little bit risky. They don't even know if Luminosity runs combo yet either. They haven't seen this deck yet today, and they still have one reduced piece and then one card from Courier that are reduced.
I like the idea of setting up Jiraxis eventually because you got hero power behind it and even some extra change. I think Virtus.Pro has less than 10 cards in their deck remaining, so they don't have much time left either.
I think they have 7 cards now. Maybe even 6 if they tap last turn. But we got to see the card count, so it was 8 left for Virtus.Pro and 12 left for Luminosity. So 7, and I believe now there's 10 for Luminosity since they tapped last turn. So it looks like it is going to be another turn. And probably a Doomsayer setup.
Oh, interesting. They don't tap.
And they play the mind control tech.
So they're afraid of possibility of dying to Leroy Jenkins power warming?
I think they just don't think they need more cards. They're going to lose the fatigue battle if it comes to that.
I guess that's also the case, but their hand size is so small.
All right, well, let's go listen to Luminosity and see what they think.
Yeah, it is.
Because they didn't get the 4th reduction. They only got 3 reductions.
They got, yeah, 9 minus 3 is 6.
Oh.
Well, we don't do anything, right?
Yeah.
We just, yeah. I like tapping. Like, I mean, yeah, it's just good anyway, but like, it also means it sort of like acts like we're digging for combo or something.
Oh, you tap your access hero power.
And then if they have the thing from the covered barrier, we're just gonna cry.
Yeah.
We got Nether.
We can't really swing back tempo. I think this is the turn to Jiraxis.
Yeah. Well, they don't really have damage, right? Like,
yeah.
They don't have like any damage.
They have Abyssal Enforcer. That would be damage.
Peddler. Well, they don't have any extra damage, right? We've got Earthen Ring and Refreshment in our deck, so we're trying to do this, and then we'll... Oh, geez, this is...
I think we do it. Just get smashed.
Yeah, the idea is we rip Twisting out of their next turn.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
How do we punch that? That's the question.
Oh,
What?
that... No.
We die on board?
No. What?
I thought... Somehow I didn't register that a life got replaced. Oh...
I guess we're not playing. We're just playing the Drake and Hero Power. Nah, but yeah, never mind. Now the next turn we can go Shadow Bolt, hit with our own face, and stop little actually. Name. No, we can't.
I think you.
Just Hero Power.
Face with your Hero Power.
That's it.
Yeah, they have to play the Twisted Nether.
I mean,
Hero
I
Power?
think you can play Twilight Drake, which is fine.
Wait, if they play Twisted Nether, they're gonna die, right? We can play our Rina.
What?
Yeah, if they play
They
Twisting
die.
Nether, they die. Unless they have reduced
They
heal.
only have Twisted Nether left, yeah, as a removal. So
So I think you can play Reno, yeah.
Yeah, play Reno.
We're gonna be rich. Job done.
I mean, they can have reduced heal or reduced something, but then they're not getting on board either.
Yeah, we're just dead.
Hyphen Farseer, did that save us?
We are just dead.
So if we face tank a 4/6 and
There's nothing on board that saves us. We are out of this match. I'll see you guys again next week. It's been great. Follow me on Twitter.
Brand Farseer.
we have to kill a 6/6 or else
There's
we'll have lethal on
absolutely
board.
nothing. There's
And when we
absolutely
kill a
nothing.
6/6, it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
You kill a 6/6 with Siphon Soul, and then you Farseer, and then you're dead.
It's at Chalky_HS for those that are wondering.
If you want to see me get Legend with Hunter this month, twitch.tv/SelayHS.
Oh, and go vote for Muzzy in the HGG voting.
Or me.
Or Zelay.
Yes, we did it. Oh, come on, yeah, nice. Whew. Just one more win, guys. One more win.
Good job.
Next week. Yeah, good job, Hobbs. Awesome feeling. Sweet. Yeah.
You didn't do the interview this time, right?
Bunny, I mean, like, you're our...
All right, well, Luminosity, man.
At least they go out with a bang.
At least they know what's important in Hearthstone.
Yeah.
Twitter followers.
Indeed. But look at that score from Virtus.Pro there. 5 wins with the Reno Warlock. Definitely an impressive run from them. I thought they were doomed once they fell 3-0 early on in the series against the Rogue. But they were able to bring it back, and
yeah, man.
And such a relief for them.
It was looking a lot like the series before. If you guys missed the previous series, Cloud9, spoiler alert, Cloud9 beat Alliance 6-0 with Rogue. And if any indication was happening this series, it looked like Rogue was on the path to at least put Luminosity in an extremely dominant position. Yeah. I think we said something absurd like 80% to win or something like that, right?
80%, yeah.
And you said higher.
I said probably higher, yeah. That's how unlikely it was, but it went from 80 to 70 to 60.
It turns out that last game, they were unfavored. It didn't seem like they had a Leroy Jenkins combo in their deck at all. Yeah. And definitely put them in a driver's seat, in the back seat for sure. I want to give props to Frozen, though, keeping calm under pressure. And it felt like he was really trying to search for every out possible, and I hope he's able to carry that momentum for him into the championships. And the same thing going for the next week as well, because now Virtus.Pro has evened up their score to 3 apiece along with Luminosity.
Yeah.
And now the standings, I want to see how it shapes up after the end of the week, DJ.
It's going to be really exciting. But first off, we do have an interview ready with Naaman from Virtus.Pro. Hey, man, can you hear me?
Hey, yeah, can hear you.
Yeah. So the match started off today rough for you guys. And actually, Rogue, today in the Trinity Series, started off the day 9-0. Were you guys worried when you went down 3-0 at the beginning of the set?
Yeah, we definitely really didn't want to lose 6-0 to Rogue. Would have felt really bad.
So your goal was just to not lose 6-0? Your goal wasn't to try and come back and win?
Actually, we weren't thinking that we were going to come back. I think we were losing 0-3, and we thought that we're just doomed, and we're going to, the Trinity Series just ended. But it went really well for us.
Yeah, it did. And the standings are really close now. And you guys are definitely have a shot to make playoffs if you win next week. Your team had a lot of success in 2016. What would it mean for you guys to make it to the live finals here in a month?
That's going to mean a lot because in 2016 we had individual results, but this year, the first team league, and we really want to perform well. And the team, the things how we prepare, how we play, it becomes better and better each week, and we're doing better. So hopefully in the next week we're just going to perform our best, and we're going to win.
Yeah, you guys definitely have stepped it up as far as communication and things have gone. So do you know your opponent for next week?
Yeah, it's going to be Complexity.
Oh, Complexity. So that's actually really big for you guys. You guys can move up in the standings. If they lose to GG tomorrow and you beat them, you guys can secure that top 4. How are you feeling?
Hopefully they're just going to...
I was just going to ask how you're feeling moving into that match.
Hopefully they're just going to win against G2, and they're just going to feel relaxed. They're going to just party, and they're not going to prepare for our match. But I'm just joking, and hopefully it's just going to be a really good match to watch. And hopefully it's not going to be decided by the RNG. It's just going to be decided which team is more skillful.
This series definitely showed us never give up until the last game. Anything can happen. So congratulations, Naaman and Virtus.Pro.
Thanks,
you guys make it to week 7 in pretty good position. Good luck.
Thanks a lot.
All right, man. It was definitely a team that's constantly going under the radar. You're never really expecting Virtus.Pro to do the absolute best, at least with high expectation, but you definitely think that they'll do pretty well.
Yeah.
And it'd be disappointing to not see them at least contend for playoffs, and I think it's just very fitting that all these series, all these games end up making the league standings very close.
Yeah, I blame the talk